Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes. So, we have Doc Fearson back with us today.
Hello, hello.
In the side chat so far, Dave is the only one I see. So it just stopped raining here and the sun's coming up, so it's starting to get muggy.
Oh, delightful.
If this doesn't get better, I may have to turn on the air conditioner just to knock the humidity down. Oh, so Doc, how's everything going for you with your new place and all?
Pretty good. The place is pretty awesome. I'm all alone, and it's awesome. I don't have anybody's rules to live by, and nobody to disappoint but myself.
Yep. I know what you mean. It's like, well, I sometimes would like to be in a relationship again. Yeah, there's also a lot of advantages to not having anyone tell me how I need to keep the place.
Yep.
And Godless Scummer has joined us.
Yep. Hello there, Jeff, and hello there, Dave. I bet it would be super awesome if Jeff could join us, if he's able, because I've never gotten a chance to speak to Jeff directly.
No, I don't think I've ever been in a live chat with him. Jeff, did you see the link in any of the groups, or do I need to send you a link on Twitter? I put it out to 4 of the private groups on Twitter. I don't know if you're in any of those. Oh, excuse me. Unfortunately, the cough is pretty much being a constant here, so.
Oh, groovy.
Too.
Sorry, Jeff just said he was going to pop on for a few minutes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yes, I was. He was on a couple episodes of Critical Questions I got into.
Cool,
of course, with that happening so early in the morning, I barely remember, and it's like sometimes I'm clicking on the excerpts that Dave, posts individual questions on that, and I'm like, well, that's an interesting question, and find out that I was in that episode, and it's like I don't remember that. I don't remember things I do at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it's a weird thing for me because, of course I work the graveyard shift, so, and then I don't go to bed till the evening. So like, mornings anymore are my after work time, kind of my afternoon. So I don't even know if I'm a morning person or not, or if the concept even applies.
Hey,
but
oh, yeah. Yeah, I've always been confused about those kind of things if you're not working the normal shift. I'll be right back.
Hello there, Jeff. Good to see you.
Hey,
yeah,
Doc. Yeah, I'll probably.
This is awesome. I finally get a chance to talk to you. Sorry.
Have we not been on Dave? Have we not been on Dave's show together? I know I've been on with Purple a couple of times.
It is possible. I've been straining to remember. I seem to remember being on Dave's show at least once.
Yeah.
But I can't remember anything about it. I was probably blazed as a fucker.
Well, I'm just sort of trying to chill at the moment in the shade with some cold cider. So, it's kind of what I'm doing at the moment. sorry, us British people, we do not do well in the heat, and for us, it's been really, really hot the last few days. So, you know, we don't deal with it too good.
Oh, I've had a fairly mild summer. I'm in Iowa in America here, and we've had a few fairly hot days, but I don't think it's gotten much over like 81 or in the 80s. So not too bad this year, and it's actually gotten kind of cold a couple days.
Trying to work that out at the moment because we tend to work in Celsius, so.
Oh yeah, true that.
It's been over 30. It's been over 30 degrees the last couple of days, which it might not sound a lot, but that's to us that's really hot, and it's been it's very humid here when it gets hot, so it's just like sweating buckets, So
yeah, my state is a pretty humid state too.
Yeah, well, and considering I've been off for like 4.5 months because of obviously the virus or whatever, because I've been shielding. I just started back this week. And I work outside. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. So
oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I work in a hotel, so I've been continuing to work this whole time. And we have had 2 guests test positive for COVID, so and like we even shut down their rooms for like 4 days after they left.
Yeah.
Hello there, Greg.
So I can't see the chat at the moment because I'm on my phone, so.
Yep, I'm on my phone too, but I have a Xbox. So what I do is I mute my TV and run the YouTube through my Xbox on my TV while I'm on here. So
sorry about leaving you there.
Oh, no problem. I got to chat with a pretty badass dude.
I'm not at all, because I think.
Yeah,
but you
we've got.
But you
I
have
think a lot of the Americans who hear me.
We've got Nerdy and Graveheart in here now.
Yeah. But you have a Bathory t-shirt, so that automatically makes you badass in my book.
Yes. I do, in fact, yes, have a Bathory t-shirt. Got a couple of their albums as well, so.
I used to have a bunch of them. They're pretty obscure around here.
Stuff, so. Yeah, I'm kind of more partial to their early stuff. I mean, I don't like some of the later stuff they did, but yeah, Bathory. I love Bathory.
Yep. I do have to be honest. I'm not into their like more death metal-y stuff. I kind of like death metal. I like the music, but not the vocal style really. I mean, I got tired of it kind of quickly, but Bathory has pulled off some badass stuff when they get in with their sound effects, and especially when they get in heavy with their Nordic sort of stuff. And
sorry, I think I cut out for a couple of secs there. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, I was just saying how I like Bathory's more when they get into their really Nordic stuff, and
Nordic,
I guess they're kind of ballady stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I am a bit partial to their, because I think they were definitely one of the pioneers of black metal. So, which is a sort of I suppose kind of sprung out of the cold death metal. But I mean, I think Venom were the first band to ever use the term black metal. But Bathory, I think, to me, proper first black metal band. But
right, I can totally jive with that.
Yeah,
but I think
Venom as well. So
yeah. I think the name of the song is Song to Haul Up High or something like that. The one about it's pretty much a prayer to Odin. I think that's probably it's probably my favorite Bathory song.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you know my backgrounds on that, because I till about 3 years ago I was a Norse pagan. I'm a bit of a weird story, because I was kind of like an atheist, and I got into Norse paganism for a bit, because it had a bit to do with the girl I was with at the time, who was into that, and often the case, as you know, with these things. But
when I was hanging out in the pagan community, I think the majority of men there, that was how they got into it.
Yeah, it is. But at the same time, maybe it had one or two sort of personal experiences that were quite powerful, which was like, oh, maybe there's something to this, and kind of really got into it. But I suppose when you kind of got to a bit where I was thinking a bit clearer again, and actually started to read some of the things, the way the human brain works around things like personal experiences, so I can get, okay, there's probably a far more logical explanation from Dave. Can I just say that's nonsense? I'd still be in it if it did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, that's a joke. That's a joke. But that's a joke.
Yeah, when I was in it, I got invited to a couple of sex parties.
I never come across anything like that ever.
Well, one of the advantages is that there's a lot of polyamorous people in there. So just because a woman's dating doesn't mean she isn't available.
Oh, that's true. That's but no, I mean, maybe
Dave.
it's just the scene I was around, but that doesn't. Hi, Dave.
Hello.
Hi, Dave.
Yeah, well, we've been. It's been like a week and a half, and we've just been missing each other. It's
To be fair, we spent like 80 days together in the last 4 months.
I know. Well, I mean, you guys have been like my social life over the last 4 months.
Oh, this online community has been my social life for over 2 years. In that small town I was living in, there just wasn't anything for me.
And you thought you'd managed to escape us, and then you got locked in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks after the move, when I thought I'd be able to actually start meeting people and dating. Then the state goes into lockdown, so I did not get to meet a single person in this city before we went into lockdown.
Yeah. So, Dave, when are you going to do the big? I know you obviously been busy. When are we going to do the big season 1 finale stream on then for critical questions?
I don't know.
Oh, you're still going to do one?
Oh no, there's still definitely going to be one, and then there's going to be season 2. But I've got to finish doing this prep work for it, which I'm pretty much spending all my time doing at the moment.
Yeah. No, I thought you had already wrapped up season 1.
I have. There's just a special episode.
I think a special episode, it's like it's an end of season finale kind of, and I think that the big teaser is myself and Manda have been the main characters in season 1, but is Manda gonna kill me off in the finale? Who's to say? we are just one Jar Jar impression away from that answer.
Oh, I need to go to the shed. I've been spray painting things. How are you finding being back at work?
Well, I've had a bit. I suppose I'm only doing like half a delivery at the moment. Until next week, I should be doing a full one, which is kind of good because obviously the last few days has been extremely hot. Yeah, for us in the UK, it's
Are you wearing official shorts?
I'm not wearing shorts. No, I don't have. I actually got a pair on order. I don't have a pair at the moment.
So they're gonna arrive just as it ends.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Probably. Yeah. So I'll get them and it started raining. So, but I'm actually, I'm almost willing to pray for rain at this point.
I know. I sat here this evening. I've got a plant sprayer full of water, spraying the curtains.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was raining here for about 6 hours when I woke up, and it's just stopped now. So now the sun's coming out, and it's getting
What's really
unbearably
weird
muggy.
is we've had loads of rain here, okay, but almost all of it has not wet the ground. It is evaporated before it hits the ground.
Yeah. The thing with the heat here is it's not so much the heat, it's humidity here. It's not like a dry heat. I mean, I've been in like the Mediterranean or whatever, where it's been like 45 degrees Celsius, and not suffered as much as what I am right now, because it's like a dry heat, and this is just like hot, sticky, sweaty kind of heat.
Not pleasant.
Mm.
We'll just
So
start to get used to it.
We blame Amanda and her climate change. It's her.
Oh, you didn't see what I said, did you? There's now the record for 6 days. I pasted it in there. The current heat wave is the first time temperatures of 34 degrees C and above have been recorded for 6 days in a row.
Wow. Yeah. Incredible. I mean, I think it probably is. It has hit 30 today here. I don't know where you are, Dave, but
I think almost certainly, given that it is hit 27 inside, and every time I walked outside, it got stickier.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's weird because I think generally where I am, it's generally a little hotter than where you are. London's generally the hottest part. London's generally the hottest part of the country, but
Yeah, you seem to generally stay a bit cooler than we do, even though we're at the same latitude. I guess, you're an island. You've got ocean all around you, so I guess that keeps it down a little bit.
Well, theoretically, anyway. I mean, because I live near
water carries a lot of heat.
Yeah.
For us, the biggest thing I've noticed as far as anything like climate change here is it seems the seasons have shifted, that they start about a month earlier than they used to. About a month earlier than I remember how it was in the 80s.
Yeah.
I haven't really looked at the actual weather data to see if that backs it up or if that's just my perception. But like we had a week in the 90s in June, which is usually what we get at the end of July. So, yeah, I think the temperature conversion is the one I'm worst at, but I think that like 85 degrees Fahrenheit is like around 30 or 35 degrees Celsius, something like that.
Yeah, it's around that, yeah.
Maybe says, I'll just die there.
Yeah. But we get both extremes then, because, then in January, we'll get a week of, 40 below.
Oh, yeah.
40 below is what? That's 40 below. Shit. I've never been anywhere that's been 40 below. I think the most I've ever been is like -8. Which I don't know what that is.
They're talking Fahrenheit there. They're talking Fahrenheit.
Yeah, but -40 is -40.
Yeah, I think -40 comes out about the same on both scales.
Yeah.
I think what is about our -10 is nothing to them. It's still above 0.
I do better in cold weather though than I do in this.
I do as well. You can put more coats on. You can put more clothes on.
Yeah.
You
Well, I
can't-
always
you-
found,
there's only so many clothes you can
yes.
take off.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. You can always find a way of getting yourself warmer if it's really cold. You cannot seem to cool down in this.
Yep, I just checked on a temperature converter, and -40 is exactly the same on both scales.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's the point where it evens.
Yeah.
Oh, hi,
Hello,
Diana.
Diana.
And Hans.
And Stool. Hans has been
And
here for a
Stool.
while.
I'm gonna someone's let Stool out of the corner.
Yeah, Stool
He
keeps
runs out when
bragging about
Mandy's
his
not.
big stick, and I keep telling him if it can't reach across the ocean, it still doesn't concern me.
Yeah.
He runs out when Manda's not looking.
Yeah.
Is Diana going to come play?
Would be nice.
It's been a little while since I spoke to Diana.
Yeah, well, I'm
No.
doing twice a week, and she's doing twice a week, and somehow we never seem to sync up very well to get into each other's chats anymore.
I've been struggling to get to anybody's. I think
Yeah,
this one is
last time I saw
annoying
you-
because I'm normally here for it, but I can't come in because normally I'm eating dinner.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Last time I saw you in a chat was Sunday, Dave, on Ilya's stream.
Hmm.
What's that, Ilya? But sit down with the bunker stream, which so.
That was an awful lot of celebrities on there.
Well, I felt like really weird being invited in there with like FTFE in there, and it's like I was like, oh my, I'm in like YouTube royalty here,
How well do you know FTFE?
First time I spoke to him actually, but I was glad I got the chance to because he's made, I'm not doxing and nothing because he's made no secret about that where he lives, which is actually the town I was born in.
Yeah.
Up in Scotland, and he obviously he's a former Royal Navy submariner. Well, my dad was a submariner, so that was like I was sort of glad to get to talk to him, and like my mum was a Wren, so she was posted up near where he lives, so at one time.
So if I said I don't live a million miles away from Camelaird, do you know where that is?
I've heard of it. I can't place. I can't place it.
It's where a lot of the nuclear subs are made.
All right. Okay.
Or were made.
The transparent ones. They're nuclear subs.
Nuclear.
Well, I mean, we have a bit, big sort of shipbuilding thing where I live, but that's just non-existent anymore. Shipbuilding where I live is just non-existent.
I don't know if there's any more going on here anymore. I know that when I was at school, I've still got tickets to seeing these nuclear subs launched.
Well, that would have been interesting.
And it was really weird that they were top secret, but anyone could go.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like a very good secret.
It's really weird. Again, looking back at the history of the Cold War and the weird things that Russia and us and America showed the other side.
Yeah, well, things were top secret, but at the same time, they needed the PR of showing off both to their own public and to the other side the new stuff they'd built. Part of it was the intimidation factor. Every time we turned out a better ship, we had to show it off to them.
Well, I remember there was a documentary about the Russian subs. The Russian subs had these weird tubes on the sides of them, and we thought they'd managed, and we managed to get ourselves in a right frenzy because we thought they'd managed to develop some super silent propulsion system.
Yeah, well, that's basically what the movie Hunt for Red October was based on.
But basically, they hadn't. Not really.
Well, partially.
Not.
But there was actually
It didn't work.
a real event. There was actually a real event that novel was based on as well, with I forget the name of it, but it was like a battleship that went rogue. But he was actually the guy, the cap. What's the difference they made between the film and like the book and the film, and what really happened was that this Russian captain was trying to spark another Russian revolution. And he just felt that like the regime, like the Brezhnev regime, had just completely strayed from
I'm surprised they didn't do that.
Communism was supposed to be, you know.
How long did Stalin rule for?
About 20 years.
That's a long time. He really was Stalin.
Yeah. But
that was a
really
joke.
I forget. Yeah.
Yeah, Nerdy's asking if that was about Battleship Potemkin.
No, that was in 1905. The Potemkin mutiny. But actually, ironically, that this particular captain who tried to stage this thing, he actually showed the old Eisenstein movie, the Battleship Potemkin, to his crew the night before, because he was trying to get them on board with this whole thing.
Uh-huh.
So he showed them the old Eisenstein film, the that Battleship Potemkin, before that. But that was 1905, the Potemkin mutiny.
Okay, there's our history lesson for today.
Roughly speaking, Diana, yes,
so about 30 years.
Yeah. Roughly speaking, you could argue that he was kind of in power a little bit before 24. It's really interesting that I listened to it was some old stuff Chris Shelton did about like the history of Scientology, and there's some incredible parallels between the way David Miscavige took power in that organization and the way that Stalin took power in the Bolshevik Party. You know, at the sort of time when Lenin was not in good health, and Stalin found himself very much in a position where he was the go-between between the Central Committee and Lenin, and was censoring a lot of stuff. Even Lenin's attempt to remove Stalin, because I think he could see that Stalin was going to be a problem. I'm not making Lenin out to be.
Put him in a position if he could.
Yeah, I'm not making Lenin out to be a saint by any means, but it was a very similar sort of situation within the Church of Scientology with Hubbard in his like last sort of days when he was ill, and Miscavige. You know, it was it's amazing parallels there.
You think Stalin believed in anything but power? I don't.
Well, Stalin brought back a lot of the old like Tsarist bureaucracy and stuff. And I mean, people forget that all of his first thing he actually purged were all the old Bolsheviks in 1917. That was his first purge.
What would have happened if Trotsky
they were kind of like I think the biggest difference between the two of them was that Trotsky had a bit more of an international. He was more interested in spreading kind of world revolution, but Stalin was like consolidating power at home. I think that was the biggest. Roughly speaking, that's the biggest difference between them.
So do you think the USSR would have been more of a threat with Trotsky?
Possibly, but I think ultimately the failure of the German Revolution in 1918, I think, also kind of sealed the fate of the Russian Revolution as well. But that's a really long topic to get into. But I kind of feel that I mean, even Trotsky himself, reminiscing later, said that actually the isolation of the Russian Revolution was, as well, kind of its downfall of what it was supposed to lead to and what it actually ended up being. Yeah, I mean, there's people talk about cults of personality and so on. If it was just personality alone, Trotsky would have won that hands down. I mean, he was the most, he was the big sort of speaker in that party. He did have the Red Army on his side in the early days because he was in command of the Red Army during the Civil War. But
so how did
there
Stalin
was more
manage
to it
to
than
so
just the clash.
successfully get rid of him?
Like I said, that was a process. I mean, he didn't officially manage to exile him until 1929. That was quite a long process of gradually eliminating people who were more sympathetic, I suppose, to Trotsky. So, yeah, it's an awful lot of history there packed into a few sentences. But yeah, I that was the biggest sort of difference between them. Is Trotsky always had a focus on world revolution rather than
writing that Trotsky believed in the cause more.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Trotsky's more. I don't say he again, not a saint by any means, any of these guys, but I think Trotsky was a little more of an idealist than somebody like, and even Lenin was definitely more idealist in a sense than Stalin ever was.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone worse at the time from what I've read than Stalin. To be honest.
Yeah, and
I think a lot of people there at the time knew that as well.
Yeah, well, he was a fairly minor figure. Okay, he may have been on the Central Committee, but he was a fairly minor figure during the Russian Revolution, and it was really during a lot of the whole cult he built around himself in the 30s that portrayed him as sort of Lenin's right-hand man or whatever. He never was.
You guys know a lot more about this history than I do.
Yeah, as Dave knows a bit of my politics, he knows I've probably read a bit about the history of the Russian Revolution. So
I have to assume he can answer where my knowledge goes off, given that my knowledge is. It's not even that my knowledge is bad; I've forgotten so much of it.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think, one of the best histories of the Russian Revolution was written by Leon Trotsky. And obviously, yes, you have to take that with a pinch of salt. That there is a bias there. But it is still one of the best histories of that has ever been written. And I think as far as being able to remove himself, he did as good a job as possible as removing himself and his biases from that as could be expected. But obviously there are still those biases there. But it still is probably one of the best and the most quintessential histories of the Russian Revolution that's been written was Trotsky's history that he wrote of it.
Yeah, and that's how you have to read history. You have to know the bias of who wrote it. There's no way you can completely eliminate that.
Well, obviously, because I mean,
hey,
I do like these.
Hi, kids.
I
don't know how I got that name.
Yeah. Obviously,
I was wondering where that came
from. Well, obviously, because I do these streams with Hissy every week. We kind of take it in turns and to host it on our channels. But we were just breaking down the Asterix comics, but also looking at some like Roman history of the Roman Empire at the same time as we're doing this.
I was watching the one you did last week.
She often talks about like prime. Yeah, she talks about a lot about primary sources and that of the period, and there's obviously you got to be conscious of the biases involved, but you also at the same time can get a very great insight from someone who was there, and or not too far removed from the events at least.
So,
I'm
yeah, I
surprised
saw
how long he
the,
lived.
oops, what's going on?
When do you think Putin's going to die?
Oh my.
Well, it'll be a while yet, I'd have thought, but I'm very suspect about his claims of a vaccine right now. I'll say that.
I think he might have a vaccine. I just don't think it will have been tested very well.
Well, yeah, there's actually probably a dozen
No,
labs
that's
around the
what I
world
mean.
that have vaccines. It's
Yeah.
a matter of, are they safe?
Yeah.
Well, the UK, I think, has finished stage 2 on a couple of viruses, on a couple
Okay.
of, but they obviously stage 3 is where you find out whether or not it actually fucking works.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. I didn't know how the stages worked.
Stage 1 is to make sure it doesn't kill anyone on a very small group of people.
Okay.
Stage 2 is to make sure it doesn't kill anyone on a very large group of people.
Okay.
Stage 3 is to find out whether or not it actually has any
Efficacy?
efficacy. That's the word I'm after.
Yay. Oh,
That's definitely a concern there.
So the point is, it's probably past stage 1, and they've gone, we've got it.
honey, what are you doing down there? Well, she's taking all the screw caps from my chair. Oh, well.
They make fun toys, don't they?
Yes, and thank you again, Purple, and everyone else who did the contributioning there. This is a absolutely wonderful, wonderful birthday chair.
You're not allowed to use it the rest of the year.
Right, right.
Just that one
Yeah.
day each
Mhm.
year.
That way, my fat arse doesn't crush it. the way it happened to the other one. And I think I've said this before. My previous chair broke, and what I think happened was that I was too heavy for it. I think it was rated at 200 pounds, and I was like 240 for most of that period. So I am a big girl. Yeah.
How tall are you?
5'9".
You're a giant. I'm 5'7", all the way down here at 5'7".
Yeah.
Why are people constantly surprised when I say I'm 6'2"?
I don't know.
Because that's ginormous.
Is it that you don't sound 6'2"?
I have no idea.
Now, Kate
I
and
wouldn't
are
have guessed
within a half
by-
inch.
I wouldn't have guessed you were that tall by your videos.
No, and I think there's a reason for that. I was looking at it. Right, and people that tend to be short tend to specifically try and put their camera lower than them.
Oh, so they look taller.
So they look
Yeah.
taller. But the point is, I don't care. I literally don't think about my height. So my camera is just at a convenient height. I haven't tried to frame myself. So all you see is my head.
Okay, then, yes. Okay.
So there's nothing really visual about my size when I'm on camera, particularly.
Especially now that, yeah, you've got the silhouette in the circle there. And
Yes.
it's hard to tell the height of that. Yeah.
That's not me.
That's not you.
That's House
Oh, okay. Okay.
with a giant sanitizer bottle.
Oh, geez. Okay. Oh, my. Okay,
Nerdy says
so
we're all giants. How tall are you, Nerdy?
Yeah, if I decided to go camera, I always wanted to do it more like eye level or head level. because I'm kind of annoyed with everybody's up the nostril angle. You know?
Yeah.
Well, you could go with the way Deconverted Man does it. He cuts his mouth off entirely.
Yeah. Okay.
No, but
Oh,
right. I think for you, it is a matter of proportions. Like, judge, if I was going by the silhouette as actually being you, that would be somebody I would think was over 6 feet tall. But actually seeing you when you're live on camera, no, I would have thought you were only like, 5'8" or so. Just
Now, how tall is Hugh Laurie? That's the dude that plays House, right?
yeah.
yeah, I never watched that show much, but
That's really weird. I've never looked.
Talking about
6'2".
You took a Lieutenant George Blackadder there.
Look, George. George? Was it George?
Yeah,
Who was George?
Hugh Laurie. Yeah. And
Yeah.
and he also played Prince George in the third series, didn't he?
Yes.
The Prince
I was thinking
Regent.
of Prince George, and I'm thinking that's not right. Yes, he's 6'2" as well. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So House is 6'2", huh? That's pretty groovy.
He actually rode for Cambridge University in the boat race, which is like a big event.
you're breaking up there.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I find it disturbing that of all the economic and socio-economic factors that you can look at to see whether or not a child is going to be successful, the single biggest indicator is height.
No
Really?
way.
Really?
I did not know that.
Yeah. Tall
Sorry,
people
I
are
lost-
much more likely to be successful.
Sorry.
The taller you are, the more likely you are to be successful. We
Cut
seem
out
to
for a
have an
couple of minutes there, I
unconscious
don't quite
bias
know what
towards
happened.
height.
Intimidation, I think.
No, I don't know.
Well, I would think that one thing that would go into that's kind of the other way around is that for somebody to get that tall, it indicates that they had good nutrition as a child, so they probably had a better starting point.
Or at
think
least
there's
a good back
possibly an element of
stretcher.
that over the last couple of hundred years. I think the interesting thing is that I don't know how far this goes back. I don't know how far back it's been studied.
No, but I would think the nutrition thing would even be applicable today, that, a child who's living in poverty is just not likely to achieve their full growth potential.
No, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't normally happen in Western society. No.
I was going to ask Dave.
We have a lot of fatty
Have
food.
you ever been, Dave? Have you ever been to HMS Victory in Portsmouth at all?
Yes.
Just a quick question. Yeah. Have you seen Nelson's uniform there?
No, I can't remember. I think I was.
Yeah. Well,
all I've got memories of is bloody the ship itself, a little bit of the ship itself. So no is the simple answer. I can't remember. Almost certainly, but I can't remember.
The reason I make the point is, reason I make the point of that is, I mean, obviously in a lot of the pictures he's portrayed as quite tall, strapping guy. By our standards, that he was would have been a very short man. He'd been good 5 or 6 inches below the average height of what we have of person now.
What I find funny about him, what I find funny about him,
he was very much
his
average height, or even tall for the time.
Yeah, and Napoleon was the same. Napoleon was quite tall.
It's really weird. It's really weird, Napoleon.
Well, the whole thing about Napoleon being short
he
was
wasn't
because
short,
one of
he
his
was
critics
tall.
was a newspaper publisher.
Yeah.
So he started that rumor basically to slander him.
Because no one gets to see, very few people get to see him. What I find funny about Wellington is the fact that his wife was obviously talk Wellington, Nelson you were talking about, but Wellington is his wife was very, very Yorkshire. With a broad Yorkshire accent.
Oh, Kitty Pakenham, yes. She was. Mm. Yeah, Kitty Pakenham was a Yorkshire lass, yes.
Shit. Vesta, it says, I'm 6, she's 6'1", and the husband is 6'4".
Okay, then.
I'm intrigued by that.
That's typical. You know these lots in Yorkshire. They always got to have something bigger and better, Dave. You know that. Anyone who's ever seen the Monty Python Yorkshireman sketch will probably get that reference.
Not remembering that one. I'm sure I saw them all at some point, but God, it's probably been close to 20 years since I've seen any of the skits from the series.
I keep getting shouted at for not liking Monty Python because I've been arguing with Nerdy about Python.
Don't like Monty Python?
No, I like Monty Python. I've been arguing about the programming language.
Oh.
Monty Python was a programming language.
Well, it's Python. Or, sorry, Python.
Jeez, who's left out of Python anymore?
Haley? Please?
Idol.
Is Eric still around?
Yeah, there's 5 of them. They've got a documentary series on Netflix going on right now that they did presumably fairly recently. So there's still Cleese, Idol,
Eric's 77.
Palin.
There's actually 4 of them there. There's actually
I'm
4.
freaking drawing a blank on the other 2, the American one and
Cleese
the other guy.
Right, 77.
Right, there's 6 of them. There was
Graham Chapman died a long time ago.
Are people hearing me okay? Because everyone else is roboting. So,
well, we can hear you okay.
Yeah, you're coming in 5 by 5.
You're in a mobile and someone came in after you.
Okay, I was just wondering because okay. Yeah, the Monty Python team was John Cleese, Michael Palin, Eric Idle, Terry Gilliam, who's the American, Terry Jones, and Graham Chapman. And Terry Jones and Graham Chapman are the 2 that have died. Because I remember when Terry Jones died, John Cleese put out this tweet saying, 2 down, 4 to go.
Okay. Now, for some reason, I was thinking that more had died than just the 2.
Yeah, I thought Terry Jones did die, but he's on the documentary.
Okay, so I have my dinner, all right, so.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, that's an old documentary, I think, that one. It's been on Netflix for a little while. Yeah, I've got to jump off now, guys, all right, so.
It was awesome hanging with you, man.
Okay, then. Be good and have fun. Something like that.
And GeoSam is telling me that Amiga Nuts is going to be away for a couple of days.
Is he?
I had kind of wondered because he's usually in here putting up everybody's links.
Yeah, Geo told me that yesterday. I don't know what Amiga's doing, but
yeah, it's first time hearing of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I miss all his shills going by, but Geo's doing a pretty good job of keeping up with it. Let me see what we've got over here, because I don't have the side chat up. So I've got to do something about that. Oh, look. My YouTube page, the first recommended film on it is How to Completely Refute Atheism, Refuted. Okay, I'll have to look at that one later.
That sounds interesting.
It's a year old, but
So I'm taking it hasn't worked.
yeah, pretty much. All right. Okay, that goes down.
hello.
Let's see who we've
Hello.
got.
Hello.
Hello, hi.
Hey.
Hey, Diana, hi. Or Inspector Gadget. Are you incognito today?
I don't know where this came from. I turned this on and it was there. You know, as if by magic, you know.
Nice. I blew your cover. I'm sorry.
Usually I'm the crazy cat lady, so
Nothing wrong.
I know why it's there.
oh, did you somehow put it there?
No, but it's there because I'll get you, Gadget.
Oh,
I didn't know if you somehow knew how to hack that in, but no.
No,
okay.
I was just setting up a cheesy dad joke as usual.
There you go.
well done, Doc.
Zaprasznie.
All right.
Was-
Did you guys figure out the Python thing? Who's still alive? Who's not? All that. I was typing in the chat, and then I was like, oh yeah, I could just go in there. That'd be fun.
I think now I had thought that Jones had died.
Mhm. He did.
He did.
Yeah.
Okay.
He died.
He's number 3.
Either super early this year or late last year. I can't remember, but it was. Yeah, he had. It was bad too. He had I think it was Alzheimer's or something.
I was going to say it was a dementia of some sort.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and a lot of people were giving him posthumously giving him shit over the fact that his wife is significantly like she's in her 30s, way younger than he is, and I get it. I don't know what but at the same time, if she cared for him through Alzheimer's, she earned it. All right, so everybody just needs
Oh
to back
yeah,
up.
absolutely. Yeah.
My dad is caring for my mom, and she has dementia, and it's rough.
Well, that stuff doesn't make any difference to me. I've been on both sides of an age gap.
Yeah.
Well, when I was officially married, my wife was 15 years older than I, and my latest ex is 13 years younger. So neither case did it make any difference. The relationships ended for other reasons. But so when somebody says something about, oh, this one is so much younger or older, no, it's like, who cares? You know, what the hell, man?
Right. Well, it's like if Junk Shop and I had met when we were children, it might have mattered because I'm roughly 6.5 years older. So if we'd met, if we'd met as kids, like, elementary school kids, he would have been like a baby to me. Like I would, or even like with me in middle school and him still in elementary school, like, or them.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, honey,
Yeah.
them still in elementary school. That would have been weird. But as it turned out, no, we met at the right time, and we were already well into falling in love with each other when I found out how old they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
If I may
matter less and
say-
less as you get older.
Mm-hmm.
If I may say, Julie, you and Junkshot are so cute together. I love you
you.
guys.
Oh, thank you. We kind of love us too. We fit very well. We're very compatible. It's nice. Plus, they're just to brag on my partner for a minute while they are upstairs and can't hear me. Junk Shop is quite literally the kindest person I've ever met in my life, and I know a lot of great and good, lovely people, but there's just the meanest you'll ever see them is on the internet. They're just beautiful and gorgeous and compassionate. They're just awesome in every way. Yeah, I know.
Lucky.
Well,
Damn.
Imagine living with that, though. You got to live up to that shit. No, I'm kidding. It's fine.
I wouldn't know how anymore. I mean, I've been living alone for 10 years. I don't know if I know how to live with anyone anymore.
Yeah, I never did live alone.
Yeah, we
Like,
kind of touched on that earlier in the stream.
Oh, sorry. I don't want to take you back.
No, that's fine. It's kind of where, when it was just Doc and I, we started out about, the advantages of living alone. And it's like, Yeah, I'd kind of like to be in a relationship again, but it's also kind of nice not having anybody tell me anything about the way I set the place up.
That's true.
Yeah.
The closest I got to that was my sister's husband had gotten transferred way out of state, and so during my divorce, I lived in their house that was up for just so they'd have somebody in there while it was on the market. They didn't want it just sitting there, looking abandoned or anything. And so I lived there for 3 months. So 3 months in my adult life, I've lived alone. But I come from a big family, and then I lived in a dorm, and then I lived with my boyfriend, and then my boyfriend and I got married, and so on and so forth. And then I had to move back in with my parents at one point during the divorce situation, and then Junk Shop and I lived together. Yeah. Oh, that sucked. Yeah. Fitting your 34-year-old life into your 16-year-old bedroom, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Like it was rough. I full on regressed to teenagerism for a minute. I remember screaming at my mother in the kitchen and then going, "Why am I yelling? What is wrong?"
Mm-hmm.
We got over it. Yeah, it was actually a good time for us because it was before the dementia really kicked in, and we had this nice 6-month period where the three of us got really close, and they really saw me as an adult for the first time, or as my dad put it, grown ass woman. I know, right? Because really. Yeah, seriously, because on some level it's like you're always their baby, and being the youngest, I kind of got that. I know it's not hard to be the youngest. I guess
I still have that problem with my family that most of them will never see me as an adult.
Yeah, my siblings, my sister not so much, but the boys definitely, they don't take me as seriously as I kind of wish they would.
Well, since I'm the youngest in the family, everybody still.
Yeah. And it's frustrating.
What, 27?
Wait, who? I'm 42. I don't know.
Purple is the youngest out of what, 27 or whatever.
Oh, gosh.
Well, the youngest out of 9 natural kids and 4 foster brothers.
Wow.
Oof.
Are your parents saints or masochists? Or both?
Yes.
I mean, that's odd. That is amazing.
Well, they're from farming families. My father wound up, there was, after his father died and his mother remarried, there were 12 in his family.
That makes sense, actually. Yeah, we have farming communities outside of Memphis, and yeah, they still have large families. You got to take advantage of that child labor. It's the only legal child labor is agricultural work. So.
Well, there's at least in Ohio, if you have a retail establishment, you can press your kids into service as well as get around the child labor laws. I mean, I was selling alcoholic beverages at the age of 10.
I think that's generally the case, that if it's a family-owned business, a lot of those restrictions don't apply.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, I get that. Like, on a practical level, I get that. But on another level, I'm glad that was not the case for me and my family, because I don't know if I would have wanted. My parents were so overly involved in my life as it was. I really didn't need them. I didn't need to be working for them. Like, working at a movie theater away from them was nice.
Yeah, my dad had a dream about buying a motel and having all of us work for it. And it's like, no, I'm glad that never happened. I could barely tolerate living with him. Having him as a boss would have been just too much.
Oh yeah,
tell me about it.
Yeah, that's me and my mom. Like, we're so much alike that it's just like it was like this for years, and we're better. The best thing that ever happened for our relationship was me moving out. That was absolutely the best thing. So.
Well, I will have to say, though, the best thing, now that you mentioned that sort of thing, best thing for the relationship between the slimy bastards and me was them disowning me. That really worked out well. It did. No, really, It really did. There were about 5 years between them disowning me and my finding out that they were dead. And they were the best 5 years of my fucking life. They never saw me as anything but a child to be ordered around, or to be told what opinions to have, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and heaven forbid those opinions should be at odds. with theirs.
Whoa! I've got stories.
Yeah, that's fun.
Mostly with him. She did not have an original thought of her own. Everything was what he wanted.
Mm.
So, I mean, she even wore her hair in a certain style because that's what he liked. Now, come on, really?
That really freaks me out. I don't like that.
It sounds like a very
I'm sorry.
1950s relationship.
Mm-hmm.
A very controlling one, too. So,
Yeah, they were married
that's a
in
red.
47. So, yeah.
Yeah, for anybody out there who's watching this and thinking about getting married someday, that's a red flag, by the way. If the person is like, "Oh, I like your hair like this. Can you wear it like that all the time?" No.
Yeah.
Walk away. Go find somebody else. It's fine.
Oh God, she just reminded me of Shona Lang. She's got a song called "Walk Away," and that just went right through my head. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, my ex talked me into cutting my hair short, and it's like, yeah, that it didn't last too much longer. Beyond that, I've never got my hair back.
Yeah.
The ponytail's never grown back half as long as it used to be.
Oh, I'm sorry. My mom did that to me because she's a child. She grew up in the 50s. Well, she was born in 42, grew up in the 50s, graduated high school in 1960. So for her, nice young ladies have short hair. Everything is so gendered with her. Nice young ladies have shortish hair that always has a permanent. Like she went to the beauty shop like every 3 weeks or something. Like it was a ritual. And yeah. I was just not into that. And I look terrible with short hair. It adds like 10 pounds to my face. I like my hair. It's the most girly thing about me, but I like my long hair, damn it.
I have not had a haircut since 2009 because I went into one of those quick cut shops or whatever they call it, a cheap hairstylist. And to trim it a little bit, the ends are split. So they cut a foot off, to about here, and I looked like shit until it took, I think, 7 years to grow it back out. So it's like I just don't trust anybody anymore. Now I need all the visual cues I can get. Okay, I mean, when my hair was short, I looked even more like a guy than I already do. It was horrible. What are you gonna do?
Long hair is definitely one that triggers a lot of people.
Yeah, It does. My first husband had long hair, and living where we do, and I'm sure this happens in other places as well, but living in the South, he got, depending on what part of town we were, that's the great thing about Memphis. But if we were going out, out to the suburbs anywhere, he would get the meanest looks from older men. And he would he'd get that body check thing like that. Like I'm walking past you, but I'm bumping you really hard with my elbow shit. That some men do because I don't know, dominance. I don't understand. I don't know what it is, but he got that a lot.
There were a couple of times. I mean, this is before I transitioned, and I grew my hair out. I think I started growing my hair out in 1990. Yeah, and so I'm going to school and a whole bit. So you're on the bus going to school, and you hear an older male voice from behind you. Only in America, and you know what he's talking about.
Well, you know what? He should fucking hope so, because we are free to self-express. Little shithead. That's why he has the freedom to say that. That's all
it didn't come to my head to say that, quickly enough. But
it wouldn't have for me either at that age.
I had the whole ponytail going and the whole thing like that, and I'm not young at the time. I'm 36, 37 when this happened. Yeah, it's second time back to school. I was a non-traditional student that second time around. But yeah, that whole and that phrase, only in America, it's who came up with that? Who invented that? Because I'd like to have him shot.
Yeah, it used to be a positive thing. Or sort of, and then I don't know when that changed. But
yeah,
congratulations.
At least up through the 80s, it was still a positive thing. It was a bragging thing.
Yeah, it was like, hey, only that could happen here.
Yeah,
land
it's
of
like
opportunity.
So Vesta and company are heading for 30 years, huh?
That is awesome. Congratulations.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Hello
Yes,
again.
indeed.
Welcome back.
Hello.
I just heard a lot of talk about guys with long hair, and I thought I better weigh in on this.
Yes, please do.
Well, that's
You know.
back until about 2000, I guess it was, that I had a ponytail that hung down to my belt,
Nice.
and
I've
my ex,
never been able to get it
talked me into just trying something different and cutting it short. And she said, "Don't worry, if you don't like it, it'll grow back." And it's like,
sure.
to this day, it has never gotten half that long.
And at a rate of half an inch a month, and it doesn't. Yeah, I mean, I cut mine.
Yeah.
I made the mistake of doing a short haircut when I was, let's see, in 2004. I was in grad school, and I thought, maybe it's time. It's so hot, whatever. So it was summer, so I cut it short and instantly regretted it. And it took years to get it this long again.
Well, that's
when it's not, it's not as long as it used to be. That's
when
true.
they cut it off. I sent it into that Locks for Love program.
Oh, thank you.
And it was 21 inches they had cut off.
Now,
Probably.
Yeah, Locks of Love is I know about it because St. Jude is in my city, but they take human hair and they make wigs for kids with cancer.
Mostly for kids who have gone through chemotherapy.
Yeah.
Okay then. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. It's a really cool thing. A friend of mine who's a natural redhead grew her hair down to her butt and then cut it off.
Although
for Locks of Love.
I have in
can't
years
grow my
since
hair that
then
long.
heard that the program, whoever's running it now, it's become disreputable, that there are other agencies running similar programs that would be better endorsed.
Okay.
Because apparently they've gone to charging the families for these things, and sometimes charging like $2,000.
That is not the point. The whole God damn it.
Yeah.
So they're getting the material donated for free, but then they're charging the families in need.
Wow. Now, over in the side chat, this is interesting. I see. Well, Vesta first said, in less than a month on September 8th, it will be our 30th wedding anniversary. And then she said, first marriage for both of us, and we are both in our 30s. What the hell? Did you get married when you were 6?
Yeah, that math doesn't quite shake out. I think maybe that was a typo on one of those.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I think they forgot the word "were."
Yeah.
I really hope that was a typo.
I have a friend who's my age and been married over 20 years, but she got married at 19, so it's possible.
Fair enough.
So you were in your 30s when you got married. Okay, fine. We can do that.
That makes more sense. Cool. Cool.
See, because I had a weird thing with my ex. We had the pagan hand fasting ceremony, but we never actually signed the contract. So we weren't ever officially married, but we had the ceremony sort of thing. So
yeah,
that's nice. I mean, you didn't have to officially get divorced when you broke up.
Well, that was the same with me.
Let's just put it this way: the breakup was hard enough for me as it was. If there'd been legal things involved with it, I think that would have done me in, quite frankly.
I was going to say, when they say,
but I will say this. Although it was very bitter for a couple of years there, and it was very, she and I are on very good terms and good friends again right now. So that's good. Kind of good. But it wasn't pleasant for a couple of years. It wasn't a nice breakup. But
yeah.
No, I don't know how to do nice breakups.
Those who say that just go ahead and live together and you don't have to worry about the divorce and everything. Let me tell you, when my most recent ex and I broke up, we were not officially married. That was harder than when my wife and I actually divorced. So it isn't necessarily a case of, you don't have the contract in place and it's a lot easier.
That's a fair point, but can you say why? Is it because there's no clear demarcation of legal separation of stuff, or that makes sense?
I think it was the personalities involved, really, and then of course the transition did not come up while Melody and I were together. I transitioned after we had broken up, but she did not like that at all. We were talking for a while. She actually quit talking to me because of that. But the biggest thing that we had going was she was very controlling, very narcissistic. And yeah, I think it's the personalities involved just made that so much harder than when Sandra and I divorced.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
And then when Sandra and I divorced, I moved to another state. That helped. You weren't in each other's backyard all the time.
Getting some distance is helpful, I think, sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I've stopped
helpful.
running into my ex in the grocery store, which is great because I don't have panic attacks in the grocery store anymore. So, yeah. I want him to be happy, live a long life, far away from me. That's.
I mean, the weird thing with me and my ex is like, I have like really. This is strange that I'm really, really good friends with the guy she's with now. He and I just
okay.
And that was the big, because when we sort of buried the hatchet and agreed to meet again, there was definitely like the first she brought her guy along, and I was like, and then I think at first both of us were a little bit like on edge around one another, and then I don't know, once that ice broke, suddenly like so. I'd hate to say bromance, but we just get on like a house on fire.
Yeah. Oh, good.
So it's just good. I mean, it's good because it was very negative for a couple of years, and I think I was carrying around a lot of anger and bitterness about the way the whole thing ended, and which was not healthy. So it was good for me. But on her part as well, I think she was carrying around a lot of guilt about the way it ended, and I think it was kind of good for both of us to be able to sort of like put that behind us, and like it was,
Yeah.
I think I got to a point where I think it was just the sort of anger and bitterness was eating me alive. I got to the realization this is not healthy. So.
Well, aside from the ex I was with the longest, I've managed to remain pretty good friends with most of the people I've dated. Okay. And in fact, that's usually how I've gotten into most of my relationships, was them recommending me to people.
That's fantastic. No, it didn't work out with us, but you two, you'd be perfect. I can totally see that.
Yeah.
I will say though, I think there is still one thing with me, that is I am very reluctant to ever get into a relationship again now, though. I just don't feel I understand relationships, so I'm just very reluctant now. So I mean, maybe that attitude.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all.
You just need to find someone brutally honest.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
Maybe that attitude will change in time, but the way I am right now, it's just like, and I suppose it's the once bitten, twice shy kind of thing.
Sure, but
and I'm very, I do not want to put myself in a position to hurt again. So,
well, no, if you don't want to, you shouldn't.
No.
I do want to really quickly just shine a light on what Dave said when he said find someone who's brutally honest, like, not mean, but like, honest communication. If you don't have that, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like that means somebody's getting walked on, or it's not an equitable thing.
Well, and especially for me, I'm actually kind of dense. People need to be very blunt with me.
Yeah.
You can't suggest or imply anything. I'll completely miss it.
It's why I would say poly relationships are better. It's not really because of the poly part of it. It's because for the poly bit of it to work, you need the open and honest communication.
Yeah.
Really?
Very much so. You have to explicitly negotiate.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I would be any good at a poly relationship.
I'm not, and I know that for a fact. I've tried.
I'm not. I don't know that I could be. I'm. First of all, I'm way too insecure as it is.
That's part of what I've got going. Yeah.
I
And-
love a poly
and-
relationship because I need a lot of downtime on my own. So it's like when my fiance said she had a date with somebody else, it's like, hey, I got the night off.
Okay.
My whole thing is,
You know,
I just my brain doesn't
whatever
work.
works for people, you know. If it in a poly relationship works for you, great. You know.
Yeah.
You know, fair play to you. Different things work for different people. You know, I don't know that I've really found out what works for me. I don't think a poly thing would me. One, either way I look at it, because I get too insecure. I don't get too insecure if girl I was with was dating someone else. I think I get way too insecure, and I think if I was the one dating two women, I think again I would get. I don't know. There's something about me that just wouldn't feel right about it. So I don't know. Yeah.
I want to point out that I don't believe for a second that was a typo, nerdy. Just so you know, I do not. No,
See,
that was
for
not a
me, the
typo.
typo ruined it. I could identify with it until he corrected that.
No, Jeff, I get what
Definitely.
you're saying. It's for me. It's like I don't care. Like as long as I know what's going on, I don't care what you want to do. Just don't like expect me to, because brain doesn't work that way.
I'm generally, as long as it's between consenting adults, it's not affecting anyone else. Knock yourself out is kind of my attitude. So, like, you know, obviously, you mean, look, we got friends in our own community, you know, that are in long distance relationships. And like, now I don't think that would work for me.
Yeah.
Personally.
You know, I think for me,
But if that works, the people involved, whatever, then hey, I'm happy. That works for both of them. I'm more than happy for them, and it's not my business to understand how it works. So,
I think for me, it might be the ideal situation to actually be the third to somebody who's already a committed couple.
Yeah, anyway, I was just to throw the last 2 cents in on that. I tried previously, this is not about my current relationship. But yeah, I tried to do the polyamorous thing, and I discovered that I can only be in love with one person at a time, and if somebody else is there, I'm like, why are you here? Like I didn't really care that like if they went off and did their own thing, like if they went out on a date, I didn't care about that. I just did not. I'm like, I just don't like it when we all have sex together. It's fun, but it's weird. It feels weird. So yeah, I was worried I was a prude. It was weird. It's a weird moment.
Most poly relationships aren't multi-directional.
they're not
sleeping with more than one person.
Are they?
I
What's
think
the
it's a
term?
common misconception, isn't it? That poly means like threesomes all the time. It's not what it means.
Are they basically what temporary pairings, if you
It's
will?
all poly relationships.
And then those two, and then these two, but they all happen to be in the same circle.
Yes.
Yeah, in that situation, my ex and I both had a girlfriend, the same girlfriend.
Yes.
And I liked her okay, and she was totally attractive. But you know, he fell in love with her and I didn't. And it wasn't that I didn't like her. I mean, I loved her. I cared about her as a human being, but I just, you know, and nothing against her. She's lovely human being.
You just didn't establish that kind of bonds or whatever.
No, not at all. I think I'm just kind of hardwired to only love one person at a time, and that's why I admire people who are polyamorous, because I don't know how to do that. I don't know how you can be in love with more than one person. So more power to them.
Yeah, see, I really don't see how you can do monogamy.
I know, right?
I don't understand how you can't be in love with more than one person. You have children, you have nephews, you have nieces, you have parents.
Now, loving someone to me is not the same as being in love with them. I love lots of people. I'm not gonna actually. Honestly, to put it in bare bones, Dave, what I discovered about myself during that relationship and previous other things was that I only want to have sex with someone I'm in love with, and that's only one person at a time. I'm not going to want to have sex with my parents or my nieces and nephews, so that's not really an issue.
Yeah,
So-
definitely the analogy only goes so far there.
Yeah, that's all I mean by that, man. Is for me, I need, yeah, and I think it looks like Diana's the same, but yeah, it's
I'm pretty much the same, Julie.
Well,
Yeah.
and for me, the sex and the love don't necessarily have to go together. You know,
Mhm.
I've had sex with people that I know I could never live with.
Well, yeah, I've done that.
Wait a minute. We're talking about love here, not living with someone.
Okay, well, I've had sex with people that it was never
Yeah.
anything more emotional than just being friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I have done that successfully, and that was fun.
It's like the
But-
great.
but,
word for it though.
That's a bit like the.
Like friends with benefits.
That's a
No,
bit like the
I'm
great.
looking for. I'm the kind of person who really can't have sex with someone with whom I do not have a very, very deep personal connection. Love,
Yeah.
lust.
Mhm.
Is it
There's a
demi?
word for that.
Yeah, that
There's a
would be
word for
Is that being
demisexual.
demisexual? Okay. Yep. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, that you have
There
to
we
have
go.
that romantic relationship before.
Yeah, I
it's
don't know all
bisexual.
these terms anymore. I grew up in a world without them, and all
Yeah.
of a sudden,
I'm
and
still
in
learning.
1982, there was this
Well,
whole
I
box
got
full of
off-
terms that got opened up.
Well, to be honest, I mean, let's be honest. We go back like 30, 35. Or when I was a kid, it was like you were straight or you were a pervert. That was pretty much the goddamn. That was the damn attitude, you know. Which is great. We fucking moved on from that, you know. But you know, but you know, it's. I mean, it's like.
Oh, God,
I think
the
one of
good
my
one.
I think one of my favourite comments about when like gay marriage was like an actual sort of, well, I mean, it still is an issue, but when it was like first being brought in, and I think the best thing I ever heard is I don't see why people want to deny gay people the right to get married and be miserable like the rest of us. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I heard someone say that too, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
But honestly, though, one of the this is going to send me on a tangent for just a second. But one of the reasons that I tried to get my Catholic parents to support gay marriage. I tried really hard. I don't know if I ever got them fully there or not, but it was the one thing. Normally, we agree to disagree, but it was one thing I wouldn't give up on because, and I would describe it to them in terms like this. I would tell my mom, what if Dad was sick or God forbid dying, and you weren't allowed to see him in the hospital because you weren't technically family, but you'd still been together your whole lives, just like you have been now. And that was the one argument. It was totally from pathos, but it was the one argument that seemed to make any kind of inroad into her thinking on that.
Oh, she actually got that. Okay.
She did feel some compassion in that moment.
Okay.
I don't know that it totally changed her mind, but it did make her think, and she teared up a little bit, and she said that would be terrible. I can't imagine.
Could I just actually ask something? Because I don't know if you had this thing in America or not, but before, like, we actually had official gay marriage, there was this thing, sort of halfway thing called civil partnerships that were.
We had that before.
In the UK.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a thing in America or not.
It depended on some states. Yeah, I'm sorry, Dan. Yeah, and also some insurance companies and some companies, business companies, like for example, if you worked for Starbucks before gay marriage was legal, and even if you worked in a state where civil unions were not allowed, Starbucks would let you put your partner on your insurance, which was very progressive. And this is like back in the late 90s, early 2000s. That was
although that worked the other way around too. That there were some states that recognized the civil unions, but if the insurance company didn't, you still weren't allowed to.
Yep.
Yeah, and then just totally
where is
screwed up, and this is
I've got to
where.
find this thing. That's all right. I'm just thinking out loud. It's something I've got to find. It's one of my little books up here.
Yeah, I mean, this is where the which one was it? The 14th Amendment really comes into play. The equality in the eyes of the law.
Yeah.
You had to have the recognition of marriage between any two consenting adults, because that amendment made no sense without it.
Mm-hmm.
The answers and idiots just reran their thing today, this morning, about marriage equality. Well, they call it gay. I know they call it same-sex quote marriage end quote.
Gross.
I love those air quotes that they put around marriage. You know, it's God bless
It's
you
so
people.
condescending.
Yes.
It's so condescending. And how dare they?
And what is it hurting? This is
Thank
what I
you.
want to know. How does it hurt them? It
Yeah.
hurt me because we're that relationship I wouldn't have minded to have worked out. We don't know what I'm talking about now, do we?
No.
To have a marriage there, or to deny that marriage would have been, horrible.
Yeah. How does it hurt you? This is how I would also explain this to religious straight people, and because they were religious straight people that I didn't know well, they didn't know that I was polyamorous, so they didn't know I'd ever dated chicks or anything like that. So I would like I told this guy once at work, he said something about, I don't know, he said something. It wasn't homophobic, but I could tell he was uncomfortable. And I said, I've never had a problem with that. More straight boys for me. And he was like, and he laughed. Yeah, he was like, okay, that makes sense. And I was like, there you go. It's like, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen? That a lesbian is going to creep into your house in the middle of the night and steal your wife away? Like, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, and the other side of that is that the religious people who argue about, marriage being this ages-old institution and a biblical marriage.
Oh, jeez.
It's like, yeah, if you had read the Bible, I don't think you'd get very many people who would support that version of marriage.
No, because it's polygamy, and a woman belongs to the man. And that's affirmed with Adam and Eve, too.
Yeah,
they like to say that God constructed marriage to be between one man and one woman. No, not if you've read the whole book. No.
Yeah, and the woman's position in the household was a slight step above the slaves.
Yeah, slave.
Yeah, there is a chart out there, and I don't have it on this machine, unfortunately, with the various forms of one man, one woman marriage, where you had, one man and one woman and his concubine, one man and one woman, and how many slaves, and
and his sex slaves that he got after they invaded a city and took it over.
Yep. I think
the girls, his adolescent sex slaves. Yeah,
there were at least 6, if not more, classifications on that chart. And let's not forget one man, one woman, and the man's dead brother. Or so. Yeah. When he dies, she's got to marry her brother-in-law.
That is legit. Where we get the concept of the best man at a wedding from. Yes. Essentially, if anything happens to you, that guy's supposed to step up and take care of your wife. But luckily now it's an honorific.
It's ceremonial.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I found the thing I was looking for.
Oh boy.
I got this little book by a comedian called Mark Thomas, it's called People's Manifesto. Which is, the basic premise around this was that he'd do live shows and people would suggest policies to him from the audience, and he'd have to do a bit of ad lib humor about them or whatever, and then the best ones would get into this little book of his. But he's got a couple of pages here on one of the things here, and just bear in mind this is before gay marriage was legal. And it says policy number 4 should be legal for all gay marriages to get married. Now, it's a couple of pages. I'll just try and read through this as quickly as possible. But it's this: in a fair society, it's only right and proper that gay couples have the mundanity of marriage inflicted upon them the same as everyone else. What makes them so special that they get let off? It's patently absurd that just because your partner and you share the same type of genital tools, you should expect the living hell of organising flowers, invite seating, eating dresses, cars, in-laws, outlaws, and crap discos.
Yeah, I'm sorry, what? I got lost in a bunch of nouns. What just happened? I heard flowers and genitals and something.
Yeah.
Why
What
did
happened?
straight
Just
people
about
be
the
only
Monday,
people
yeah.
subjected to the hell of a wedding?
Okay, I'm not going to. In the same spirit, we should go one step further and allow heterosexual couples to have civil partnerships for those people who still enjoy great sex but don't want to get a joint mortgage. This would enable
Okay, that's funny.
Yeah, this would enable heterosexual couples to boldly declare to the world, "I love you. I'm moving in with you, but I'm still keeping the flat." So, many who object to gay marriage say homosexuality is not natural. Well, neither is hair dye, UHT milk, or the closet freezer. If you want to return to an era when nature ruled the world and we only used plant medicine, our life expectancy would be about 40, and anyone living longer would be seen as a degenerate. Bigots would moan, "I've got nothing against pensioners personally, I just don't want my father turning into one." Those who
Wait.
object to
I'm sorry. I have nothing against what personally. I just don't want my father turning into one.
Sorry, bigots would moan, "I've got nothing against pensioners personally, I just don't want my father."
They don't call them pensioners in the States.
Oh,
okay.
pensioner. No, I do know what that means for you. I just didn't. Yeah,
Okay.
retirees is what we do.
yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. Sorry, I just couldn't hear the word. I was like, is he saying pedo? But no.
Sorry, this is very British. Okay.
I got confused. No, it's all right. It's all right. No, pensioner,
Yeah.
rather. It's fine. I know what that means. Okay.
That's a
Those
great
who-
term. It should be adopted worldwide.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those who object to gay marriage on religious grounds often cite the book of Leviticus in the Bible, which says, "If a man lies with another woman, another man is with a woman, both of them are committed to abomination."
Ugh,
However,
so gross.
in Leviticus, God also decrees that menstruating women should be kept separate for 7 days. On the 8th day, that woman should have to sacrifice 2 pigeons to make herself clean again.
Yeah, try it.
Yeah, that these pigeons should have.
Because I can bleed for 7 days and live, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, don't even mess with.
Oh, it goes on. That these pigeons should have their necks run by a priest at the altar, the feathers cast into the east side of the altar, and the pigeon burnt on the altar itself. Despite these clear instructions from the Bible, there have been no recorded sightings of religious groups offering free pigeons with a pack of every Tampax.
But
Nerdy, people in America do not have pensions. Nerdy, if the GOP has anything to say about it, we won't.
yeah, I probably will never retire. I like.
So,
I liked a lot of that.
oh, Julie, there's one more paragraph, and then
I'm sorry.
be done with this. All right. Or perhaps in certain religious circles, women finding themselves caught up, slide up to the other woman and whisper, "Has anyone got a spare pigeon in their handbag? Just come on." So the Bible has been. So the Bible is used selectively to back an argument against gay couples. Unusual that is, isn't it? Good. That's a good little excerpt from that book.
That is excellent.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's maybe running in tight circles or something, or small numbers in the circles. But most of the same-sex relationships with which I'm familiar are more stable than the heterosexual relationships I know of. I mean, really and truly. I don't know how that works, if it's just the people I know, or if it's something intrinsic.
Yeah, I'm actually interested to see in about 20 years or so, after gay marriage has been legal for enough time to get the data, if the divorce rate goes down a little bit,
Right.
or
right.
I am interested, because right now it's a bit over 50%, and it would just be interesting.
Yeah, and we've had marriage equality only 5 years now, because it was June of 2015
Yeah,
when.
well, I think 20 years is about right, because we need to see what happens when a full generation grows up from it.
Yeah, you want to hear something messed up? When Junk Shop and I went to get our marriage license, we found out that in our lovely state, because this was in March of 2015, right? So it hadn't passed yet. So we go and we find out that that first cousins can legally be married in Tennessee, but not same-sex couples. No, that's weird.
Yeah.
I forget how many states allow that, but it's not an insignificant number.
I think it's about 12 now. It had been like 17 and it's gone down a little bit.
It's not great. I mean, you're not, it's not as bad as, and that's still, it's bad. It's weird. I don't, okay, I'll stop. But yeah, we were both very shocked by that. We were like, oh, and then we were like, well, it kind of explains a lot. I don't know.
Yeah.
That would be good. But,
Okay, here we go. As of February 2014, that's a while ago, 24 U.S. states prohibit first cousin marriage. 19 states allow marriage between first cousins, and 7 states allow only some marriages between first cousins. Now, that's 6 years ago.
Some marriages. I wonder what their criteria are.
I don't know. This is in the Font of All Knowledge. Under cousin marriage. It would be interesting to dive into the references because they actually exist on this particular citation. Oh, this is interesting. Okay. On this map, and I'm assuming that this map is as current as this citation is, so let's say it's 6 years old. First cousin marriage is legal in New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Maryland, Virginia, Tennessee, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Colorado, New Mexico, and California. Now, on the other
some
side,
of those surprised me.
yeah,
Some of those surprised. I really thought it would be all in the South, but
Also, some of the states you mentioned do have restrictions on it.
yeah.
Like
Now, on the other
New
side,
York, it's okay to marry a first cousin, provided that at least one of the people is sterilized to make sure you will not have children.
Oh, okay.
Holy shit. All right. I did not know that.
Now, on the other
Yeah,
side,
I find that
of
an
the coin here-
interesting thing as a solution to people that have incest with incest on grounds of the kids.
Yeah, I find that interesting too, given that a lot of the heartbeat abortion bills states are passing right now make no exceptions for rape or for incest.
Yeah.
So,
that's
how's that going to work?
really interesting. Sure
I'm
enough.
So
Anyway.
I'm going to leave for 2 seconds
Really
and then come back in
interesting.
because everyone's.
Okay, Jeff.
Okay, hon. No,
Apparently,
states
your
in
other
which-
half wants their web camera back.
States in which first cousin marriage is a criminal offense. Brace yourselves. Nevada, North Dakota, South Dakota, Oklahoma, and Texas.
That's interesting.
Interesting.
Texas
that have
is
something-
the state that comes up in conversation whenever somebody's talking about, dumb and cousin marriage. But it's a
Yeah.
criminal offense there. Yeah,
All right.
Okay.
There has to be a reason. I want to know how that came about. All right. I'm sorry. After dropping that really depressing, not anti-choice information, I have to split because Junk Shop has a thing. It has a stream at 2, and I need to let them do that because we only have one.
Oh my! Now could that not be a rather messy proposition when you split? I mean, would there be blood and guts all over the place?
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna try and keep it as not literal as I can, and just
Okay.
sort of ooze over that way. That's
Okay.
Okay.
You could always
Oh,
regenerate afterward.
I think you're not thinking euphemistically enough.
Right.
I'm accused of that so often. Okay, love you guys. Hi Diana.
Great
I'm sorry I'm
talking
never
with you,
around.
sweetness.
Oh, so
I never
nice.
get to talk with you.
I know.
We're gonna have to. What you get hold of me, and what sorts of things do you do on Sundays and Tuesdays? Maybe we can work something out where we can drag you onto the show.
Yeah. Okay. Well, on Tuesdays I have a stream that I do, Wine&Reason at 2 p.m. Central, and then but I'm also hunting. I'm also job hunting like crazy right now, so that might change. Sundays, I tend to just watch we just tend to watch the AES shows and a couple of other streams and just chill. Neither of us like do production on Sundays.
Move. Okay,
Yeah.
because we stream Sunday at noon and Tuesday at 7 p.m. So that would be 6 p.m. for you, right?
Yeah. Either of those are doable for me. So.
Oh, yay. We're going to have to work this out.
All right.
Yeah, because we need a little bit of variety on the show.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take
All right.
care.
Well, thank you. And I love everybody. Take care of yourselves. Be careful. Wear a mask.
Yeah, that too.
I'm going to run away too. So I will.
Okay. Then there were 5.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Catch you later.
Later, Dave.
Okay, then there were 4.
Whoa.
Calling Agatha Christie.
I'm sort of here.
There we go. Well, no, Doc, you're not all there. I know I'm not all there.
Yeah, no. I've never been all anywhere.
Oh my. But how you been, honey?
Moi?
Yeah.
Oh, hanging in there. I've been working through this whole COVID thing, and it's been fun. Sorry?
How are you symptom-wise? I know you had a scare there.
Just because we had a couple cases in the hotel, I have not exhibited any symptoms. We've been checking our temperature at work for the last good week now.
Okay.
And I'm hovering around 96 degrees all the time.
Oh, so you run cold. Okay.
Yep. Apparently, I used to be so damn hot-blooded, but like in the last 3 or 4 years, I pretty much started losing my heat. So,
I ought to check someday. I used to run hot. I don't know what I do now, but that's another story entirely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have to keep checking my temperature because that's the only symptom of the COVID that I don't normally have from allergies.
Okay. Yeah, but it's good to know that at least you're not so far exhibiting COVID symptoms. That's a very, very good thing.
Yeah, I have some chronic issues myself. I have rhinitis, so I pretty much always have a runny nose. So, that wouldn't be an indicator of anything. And I'm a heavy smoker, so I cough all the time. So
you too.
How do you afford it? I'm asking seriously, because what are cigarettes? Are cigarettes anywhere near $10 a pack yet?
It depends where you live.
Yeah, getting there. Mine are around $5.50. The brand I get, so it's not too bad.
Okay, so that sounds cheaper than what I've seen here in Pennsylvania. Here in Pennsylvania, they seem to be hovering around $8 or $9 a pack, depending on what you get.
The state tax has a lot to do with it. When I was living with my fiance in New York 6 years ago, they were already over $10 a pack.
Which I can promise you is a lot cheaper than the UK.
Well, UK, what do they want? 15 pounds? Really?
No, not quite yet, but they're you are looking at about £9 for like the cheapest. Hold on.
Okay.
Sorry, I lost my mic there for a second. Sorry.
I can remember paying $1 a pack in New York, and I was amazed. And it was, oh my God, $1. That was in 1977. Holy fucking shit.
Oofta.
Chicago. Oh,
well, generally on a pack of cigarettes, the state and local taxes will make up at least half the price.
Yeah.
So wait a minute, honey. 10 pounds for 19. You don't have an even 20 cigarettes in your pack? Oh, yeah, okay. Outside of Cook County, $9. That makes a lot of because
well, that's still a pretty big difference of $5 just for being in the city.
Well, we
Well, that's why I say the main reason I'm not living in Chicago at this point is I can't afford it.
in the UK now, they no longer basically all packs have to be 20 packs. They don't allow like a 10-pack thing anymore. That used to be
Okay.
quite a thing. It was the 10 packs were quite popular. It's supposed to be about 5 or 6 years ago. They basically got rid of that. 10, and you had some weird ones like 16 packs and some that were anomalies like that. But basically, yeah, any pack of cigarettes now is 20. So.
Yeah, I mean, I love Chicago. I really, really do. I'd be living there right now, but I just can't afford the price tag. So, what are you going to do? But
I've been to Chicago a couple times on an art club trip in school. We went to the Art Institute.
Okay.
Freaking awesome! I love that place.
Now, did you manage to get to Adler or to the Museum of Science and Industry?
Seems like when I was in high school, we had a I went to a Museum of Science and Industry, but I think it was in Minnesota somewhere.
Okay.
I assume they have them in multiple places.
So. Oh yes, absolutely.
Well, there's Science Museum in Minnesota.
Yeah, that might be where we went.
Yeah, that's in St. Paul.
Well, last year I went up to London for a couple of days. I went to the day at you got the Natural History Museum and the Science Museum are back onto one another. But the Natural History Museum in London, you've almost got to get in there early because it is so popular. And so you almost got to get in there to have a look around before going to the Science Museum. But yeah, it's just stuff. It's just really interesting, both of them. Thankfully, they're both free to get into. So, but,
hey, Mikey, 13 months clean. God, I love it.
Yeah, that's definitely an accomplishment to applaud.
Yeah. Well, just let's see now. A week ago, I made 2 years. It was the 5th of August, 5th of August, 2018. I quit.
Is that Mikey Famine? I saw in the chat there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Mikey.
Yeah. Hiya, Mikey. I haven't talked to you in a while.
Yeah, I was to say that. Yeah, Norway's notoriously expensive compared to like UK prices, but I think generally, from what I gather, you tend to get a bit more for your money out of the Norwegian system. But I don't know. I haven't lived there, so I can't really say too much. But
yeah, I have no idea what the currency conversion is for Norway.
Oh man, I'm trying to remember what a krone is worth.
Yeah.
I think it's basically pennies compared to US, but
okay, yeah, I'm looking it up here, and it's close to 9 krone for $1.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
okay. So it's a little more.
Yeah.
Fewer krone per dollar than I thought. I thought it was over 20.
US dollar equals 8.94 krone.
Okay. Oh my! And then you've got you've got Italian lira, which is another story entirely.
You don't have Italian lira anymore.
Well, no, that's right. It's all euros. That's
Euro.
right. That's right. Yeah.
It's the euro. Yeah. Actually, the only time I ever went to Italy was must have been literally a matter of months before the euro was introduced. So yeah, I do vaguely remember the lira. So yeah, a lot of the currencies I used to. I mean, I went to France the first few times. I was dealing for the franc, and then when I went to Greece, it was it was the drachma still at the time. But most of the countries in Europe, I suppose, are on the euro.
Yeah.
There's obviously the UK is not.
Obviously.
There was a big resistance to the idea of it from the get-go in the UK.
Well, even when the Brits were part of the EU. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was always a big thing. We're never joining the euro. I mean, there's some good arguments around not joining, but then again, a lot of it was petty nationalistic reasons as well. So, you start listening. We want the Queen's head on our money. It's like you're going to make that argument. You're not thinking about this thing logically at all, I'm afraid. I mean, and there were some good arguments not to join as well, but.
Oh my, I don't know. How's it going, by the way, with the whole Brexit thing? I mean, I'm hearing that it could cause or does cause or how a whole bunch of problems, but I mean, from somebody there, can you tell us about it?
Well, one of the most frequent arguments I was hearing was about the color of the passport, and I'm sure there's a lot more to that. But
good Lord! That's only something that's come out since Brexit, that they're gonna we're gonna have got the blue or black passport back again instead of the red one. But that's a post-Brexit thing. And again, I'm not as up on it as a lot of people, because I got to a point where I just zoned out on all the nonsense. I just zoned out on a lot of the bloody nonsense arguments around it, and I think my big takeaway for it, the worst thing about that referendum is that the political right dominated the argument on both sides of the argument, and it got reduced to some blimmin' petty referendum on immigration. That was what I think was the worst thing about it, was the actual debate around.
What is it?
The state was awful.
Hey, Mikey.
Hola.
Hey, Mikey.
What's up, you strangers of mine? How y'all doing?
Hey, I'm stranger than most.
Stranger Things.
Oh my. What? Yeah, it's what is it that I've heard something where? Tell me how far off base this is. Allegedly, the whole Brexit thing was supposed to fix the immigration of refugees to Britain, and by the time it was over, it didn't do a thing to it, or something like that.
Yeah, I suppose so. But it got. That's the sad thing about it, is it got reduced to a referendum on immigration, and you got to understand that you've got a largely conservative, right-leaning press in Britain. There's one or two exceptions or whatever, but the majority of them have been hammering on the European Union for the last 20 years on like two or three things. One was immigration, and the other was like, petty bureaucracy and whatever. Now, then there's some good arguments to be had around EU bureaucracy and how undemocratic the European Union is. I have no love for the European Union, but it was the whole thing got down to a blimmin' argument where it was blame the EU for this, that, or the other, and I mean the classic one on the Brexit side, and I'll just say personally, I think there were some good reasons to vote for leaving. Just never really got talked about because of the real lack of democracy within the European Union, and amongst other things. But it got down to, I mean, what the big thing was, there was this big campaign slogan on that infamously were put on the side of some campaign busters saying that if we leave the European Union, we will have £350 million a day to invest in the National Health Service that we don't have, which was a blatant fucking lie. And it was like what the two of the main people behind the campaign, Nigel Farage and our current Prime Minister Boris Johnson, more or less admitted that whole thing was a lie after they after it happened. It was just I suppose that the whole referendum was just an exercise in stupidity on both sides. It was just collective stupidity, the whole thing. That's just my take. That's my take on it.
Yeah, well, that's what happens too often in the elections now is people lose sight of the actual facts, and it's all driven by emotional issues.
Like I said, if they brought up some of the legitimate issues with the lack of democracy within the European Union, or some of the issues that I had with some of the left, and I'm very much on the left, as people haven't noticed already. But some of the issues that I had with the left, sort of saying that the EU was a great bastion of like workers' rights, when it is not. It never has been. And it's it was just, it was a very frustrating thing to me, the whole process, because both sides just had the worst arguments around it ever, and it got reduced to an immigration debate.
Sounds like the U.S.
Yeah.
And I think the other huge thing that really fucked Great Britain over, you don't let everybody vote on every issue. And this is exactly why, is because people, the general populace, can be easily swayed and easily scared. And when you say brown people coming, look out, all the brown people are coming, they are going to vote in a way that they feel is self-preserving, as ironic as it is. And they were tricked.
See, I personally like the idea of referendums and having them a bit more, but then it's going to help a big thing on how well informed the public are, which they were not.
Well, it's the same way we got Trump. You know, his big campaign was going to be build a wall to keep the brown people out.
I'll just end on this with Brexit. I can sum it up in one sentence. That's this. They took our jobs.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's what, and fear wins. Fear and bribery work. That's why they're illegal.
It's so short-sighted that even when it works, it backfires on them.
Yeah.
Like the California farmers overwhelmingly voted for Trump.
Yep.
And because he cracked down on immigration, they couldn't get the immigrant farm workers. So 20% of the crop rotted in the fields because they couldn't get anybody to pick it.
And they started that trade war with China, and then all these Midwesterners, who were all about Trump, and Trump is the guy. And then he got into that trade war with China, and they couldn't sell their soybeans.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, good on you, fools. You really showed those brown people how you can literally vote against your self-interest so quickly that you pretty much bankrupt yourself in 2 years.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. The neighborhoods I've lived in most of my life have been very xenophobic. They especially don't like brown people. They also don't like people who don't sound the way they do. You know, if they use different syllables to represent the same thing, you know, they don't like that sort of thing going. Well, the areas I grew up in are heavily Eastern European. And the Eastern Europeans are famous for being extremely xenophobic. So this is where you ended up with the white flight of the 1960s from the city of Cleveland, from other areas. I mean, it's actually called the White Flight.
Yeah.
Because you saw the first few black families move into the neighborhood I was living in at the time, and these people were of equal or greater socioeconomic status than the people who were already there. But as soon as these Polacks and Slovaks saw them come in, it was Chirny, Chirny, and they're running like hell to get out, taking whatever they could, for their houses to move out to the suburbs. And this is when the slumlords started buying that stuff up. And right now, if you look at an overhead with Google Maps, the place looks like a war zone. I mean, every other lot is empty, and it's just all been lit to ruin because
I was
of these
going to
fucking
say.
Polacks.
I was going to say in the UK. I mean, sadly, and again, this could go back to Brexit. Eastern Europeans have been a bit of a target of xenophobic abuse in the UK, because we have had a lot of migration from Eastern Europe over the last 20 years. And on the whole, I think it's been a very positive thing. And just some of the ridiculous stuff you hear. Like, for example, the city I live in there's a Polish community in the city I live in. And you hear these idiotic Middle England bigots sort of. You can hear them in the pubs, and they'll say, there's certain shops in town right now. They won't serve you if you're English in there. I said, what? Polish shops? Yeah, they won't serve you if you're English in there. And I could ask them, have you ever been in one of those shops? Well, no. I said, what the fuck do you know? Because I have been, and they're going to accept custom. And I think they're brilliant, because they just bring a bit of variety to these shops, so you can buy different stuff, or I find the sort of different cultures brilliant.
I'm curious, when you're saying that there's the discrimination against the Eastern European folks, how long have they been in Britain? Because here in the U.S., the Eastern Europeans I'm talking about are my grandparents, the people who immigrated to the U.S. in the 19-teens or something like that.
There's always been immigration in Britain. It's just that the British people don't have very long memories and think it's something that's only happened like post World War II or something.
Okay.
And that it's nothing could be further. Obviously in the 1950s we had a lot of immigration from the Caribbean. We really had there were always black people in Britain, but it was like a massive wave of immigration from the Caribbean.
Okay.
I mean, even when I was still young, there was still signs up on some of the pubs that would say this: no dogs, no blacks, no Irish. That's how bad it was.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen those in TV shows, and I didn't know how much of that was serious or a joke.
Yeah. Oh no, those were genuine. Those were absolutely genuine.
They did that. They did that with the Asians over in California too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it seems like it's been a sort of thing where with every generation it's been like a new target that the racists will target. Like in the 50s and 60s, it was the Afro-Caribbeans, and then going to the 70s and 80s, it was like the Asian communities that immigrated into Britain from say India or Pakistan or Sri Lanka, those communities.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that got revived a little bit again after 9/11. I have to say, and then obviously in the last 20 years, Eastern Europeans have been a lot of the target of it. But I mean, this is the stupidity of what I see sometimes, and I mean, there was something that was about a year ago, which was going around as an absolute meme on social media and it was being portrayed as a group of young Muslim men out in the streets celebrating a terrorist attack that had happened in Britain, like the Manchester bombing or something. Okay. That meme went round. No one bothered, and it went viral, and no one bothered to check it. It actually was a group of young Pakistani men who were in London for a cricket test match, and Pakistan beat England, and they were celebrating winning a cricket match.
Oh Lord! Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say I
what
thought
it
it was
actually
football or
was.
something. Yeah, I knew it was sports. I didn't know if it was football or cricket, but I was like, yeah, they were just celebrating a sports game. That's why they jumped up. Like, the fucking footage from the terrorist attack wasn't streamed live on ESPN. Like, it, like, even the way that they reported it didn't even sound right.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Like,
and you wouldn't. Something you would. I mean, yeah, soccer you get terrorist, like fights, fights in the stands. Or cricket, no way.
No.
Cricket is like such a. There's no thought of segregating fans there at all. It's just such a good, to its one of the credits I'll say to cricket, to its for everything else you can say bad you can say about that as a sport. There's not a lot of tribalism there. The
one big gripe I have about cricket is the rules are impossible.
Yes.
Well, that's England's the world to you, that we can invent a game that nobody else in the world understands, and still everybody beats us at it.
It reminds me. Well, I'm kind of suspecting that it was based on cricket. In Mad Magazine, many years ago, one of the writers invented a game called 43-Man Squamish, which whose rules, what the heck? Those rules were absolutely crazy. Played on a 3-sided foot knee with. I've got to look it up, and I'll put the links to the rules on there. But it's an entire page of rules that are crazy. They contradict each other. You need to be drinking and smoking quite a bit before you can even begin to understand them.
I'll just say that there's I'll have to try and find this later, but there's a classic comedy
Here we
sketch
go.
of the 70s, with the late great Peter Sellers, and he was with a sketch with a very, very young Goldie Hawn, and he was trying to explain the rules of cricket to Goldie Hawn, and of course they made no sense whatsoever. He'd be talking about the LBW rule and bowling off stump, and she's like, okay. And so he said, well, there we go. Those are the rules of cricket. He says, oh, that's strange. Because in America, that's how we elect a president.
Oh, boys,
Yeah, Diana, you're mentioning about Mad Magazine and the sports, and I was thinking you were going, I remember one from sometime in the 70s that they had a full 2-page illustrated thing of the game of baseball.
Okay.
Was that people found baseball too boring, so they needed to spice it up.
Yes.
With things like the batter did not drop the bat because having a weapon with you greatly improves your chances of taking the base.
Yeah, in the side chat here in the YouTube page is a page to Doug Guilford's 43-Man Squamish rules from June 1965, Mad number 19.
That was a very good year.
It was a very good year. Oh, my word. Jesus Christ, June 1965. I wasn't quite 8 years old. Oh, my word. Now you're making me feel old.
You found that.
Yeah, I'm okay.
We didn't do that. You did that.
Well, blame it on you anyway.
Fair enough.
You're convenient, and you're old.
Glad you're here. You did this.
Hashtag blame Mikey.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
That seems to be the going trend, but that's all right. Don't bother me.
Oh,
None.
I missed that one way back. Jesus, it's almost a year ago, isn't it? Back when Jeff was still alive and we were doing movie night, besides night movie night. We had someone with us, Brooke McCormick, and it was always hashtag, Boot Brooke or whatever that was. She suffered the toe of the boot with that one. I miss that stuff. I haven't been able to do movie night in quite a while anymore. I can't stay up that long.
I don't ever really catch that live because it's always on like in the middle of the night for me. So
yeah, I think even here now it starts at maybe 11 p.m. or something like that, and runs until about 2 a.m.
It's usually about 3 o'clock in the morning for me. So I'm generally fast asleep when that's on.
I remember. Again, back when Jeff was alive, we used to start it at midnight. And for those of us on the panel, very often we did not turn the thing off and get to bed until maybe 10 the next morning. The shows would last about 6 hours. And then we would be talking off the air for another few hours. It was an all-day affair.
Good times.
I've had it.
Oh boy!
I seem to recall. One time, like an open chat on the iNetwork or something. We ended up chatting for about 4 or 5 hours after we'd gone off of air. So.
Yeah. Speaking of new things become old things become new. I'm engaged.
Holy shit!
Well, congratulations.
Congrats.
I tricked her into saying yes.
Congratulations. Yes, definitely. Poor girl.
She has no idea. She's learning day by day how deep the crazy well goes, but
oh my. So, have you set a date yet, or still working on that?
We can't do anything because the world is closed.
Okay.
Oh.
I planned on us eloping on a cruise, no less. Glad I waited.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's going to be a while before cruise lines are ever the same, or any kind of international travel ever be the same. But we were going to go off for 2 weeks and enjoy ourselves, come back, have a reception, and get all the gifts from everybody, and then just go on with our lives. Well, that ain't happening. No time soon.
And even once the international travel is opened up and everything, I wouldn't blame anybody for being a little gun shy and not
for sure
to jump right into it yet. I don't know. As far as the rest of the world is concerned, maybe we can start getting, they can start getting back to normal middle of next year or something. As far as the U.S. goes, I don't know if we're going to get anywhere near normal until 2025. Not with
and the thing is, we can't, countries won't accept us. So even if we wanted to roll the dice, other countries are looking at America, especially after Missouri and Florida and Texas and all their huge outbreaks. They're looking at us like, oh, hell no, you're not coming over here. What? No Americans. Our xenophobia has flipped on us, and now no one will accept us.
Isn't that something? Yeah.
That's the motto of Britain at the moment, is at least we're not America.
There you go.
You cheeky bastards.
What, 4 or maybe half a dozen countries will take Americans unrestricted at this point.
I tried to sneak off into Canada. And
No, I
they're just
mean,
like,
I have to
They
say,
won't understand. Oh,
I actually have to thank. I do actually have to thank you on behalf of my nation for like taking the heat off of our stupidity. You know.
yeah, we forgot all about Brexit. You know,
Yeah.
Brexit is a thing of the far distant past.
The before times.
Oh my! What do the Maori call it? Oh, dream time. That's it.
Was it BM or AM? And that's before mask or after mask?
There you are. There you are.
Or PM and AM, but
masks
after
are
mask
actually
and pre-mask.
mandatory, well, masks are actually mandatory in stores in the UK now. Although I went to one the other day, and it was like there was been about 6 people not wearing a bloody mask. It was very frustrating, especially to somebody like me who's immunocompromised. So
Yeah.
very,
And then
very annoying.
Yeah, and just the total difference between the US and Canada, that they were trying to organize an anti-mask protest, I think it was in Toronto, and the media was telling people to avoid the area and that they thought there could be thousands of people showing up for this. And the day came and 16 people showed up to protest.
Well,
and then here,
actually,
is it in Florida?
I've got to say so. I'll say something about like things like that. That little things that restore your faith in humanity a little bit. And it was after in my city, just after the Brexit result, we had a group of fascists, and I mean proper fascists when I say that.
Gotcha.
Actual people that believe in that nonsense. Decide to hold a rally, thinking they were going to draw like hundreds, maybe thousands to their cause. And it was quite worrying. So a lot of friends of mine, we were part of organising a counter demonstration, and we got about 1,500 people out against them. And it turned out, do you know how many of them turned up? 11. And it was like,
Excellent.
It's like, as I say, you don't even need the you don't need to bash them off the streets at that point or anything, because it's just like they're so humiliated and deflated that they just went home with their tails between their legs, and it was brilliant. So you didn't need any like real militant action or anything like that. It was just brilliant. And it just restores your faith in human nature a little bit when that stuff like that happens.
I mean, and then is it in Florida or is it somewhere else? The sheriff that issued the order prohibiting his employees from wearing masks at work, even with a statewide mask order in place. This is the kind of people we have here, and this is why the U.S. is. What would really be nice, and Lord, I hope I don't get you thrown off the air, Purple. What would be nice is if the U.S. just kind of caused its own extinction. We all died from the COVID and everything else, and now let the rest of the world go on its own way.
I'm with that. Can I get off the ride first before we go into spin cycle?
Okay.
I would like to get off, please.
I mean, I really don't give a damn as far as that goes. One of the interesting things I just learned a day or two ago, I've been having a hell of a problem with muscle cramps. And one of my subscribers, Greg Hardwick, asked me, hey, could that be related to your kidneys? And I did some looking up, and it's quite possible that the muscle cramps I'm having could be due to advancing kidney disease. Yay! I might be dead pretty soon. God, I love it.
Well, a possibility for something less serious.
I'm hoping.
Well, I know for some people that's a potassium deficiency.
I was about to say, have a banana.
Muscle cramping.
Or if your kidneys are doing too much and they're filtering too much, could be you could be peeing out all your potassium.
Yes.
I do have chronic kidney disease. So there's that. Yeah, I don't know.
Big thing, I mean, my body doesn't produce like vitamin B, so I have to have injections every 90 days or so.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, I mean, I've been open about it before. I've got Crohn's disease. It's not a lot of fun.
Oof.
Yeah, not a lot of fun. This is also why I've been off for like only just gone back to work like 2 days ago after being off for 4.5 months because of I'm on immunosuppressants, which means I'm immunocompromised. So
Fun.
yeah, which is why I don't appreciate certain dicks in shops that don't think the mask rules don't apply to them. I mean, I could probably appreciate that there are some cases or whatever where there's legitimate reasons for people not to wear a mask. I'm not going to say there's not any cases of that, but I find it very difficult to believe in it that going into a small store that 6 or 7 of these people at the same time happening to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I find that very difficult to believe.
Well,
I don't blame you.
Well, it's a matter of responsibility too, because and accountability. Because if I know that I can't wear a mask, but there's a world pandemic going on, I need something out of this shop.
Yeah.
Well, it's irresponsible for me to go in there without a mask on.
Yeah.
It's not my fault I can't wear a mask, but that just means I need someone to do something for me. And that's what societies are for. We don't expect everyone to own a fire truck in case their house catches on fire. We rely on other people to help us out in these times. When we set up things to help people, like there are ways to get your groceries delivered.
Yeah. And unfortunately in the US, that idea of personal responsibility has really been going.
America is all about personal freedom, but they care not for personal accountability.
That's what I really
do. Yeah,
that's really winds me up when I look at the United States. There's people that think the mask thing is some sort of First Amendment issue, and it's nothing to do with that whatsoever.
Of course. It's public health, for Christ's sake. Well, I love the way Greg Locke and others go on and on and on about you're not going to keep us out of the churches. This is First Amendment. This is freedom of religion.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Wasn't there a picture of him taken wearing a mask recently?
Yes, he was. He was in a seat on an airliner. Yeah. And that was a whole bunch of mirth. Yeah.
And that goes back to like the whole idea of religion being harmless. It can be, but generally it manipulates people into not being critical thinkers. So when you know that there's a pandemic, perhaps being in a most times very warm building with everyone singing and shouting and praising and spitting and all that stuff, a confined area, how is that a good idea? Like, I'm not going to go to I even if I got front row tickets to the FIFA World Cup, but it was in a country ravaged with Ebola, and I knew the country was doing nothing to stop the spread of Ebola, I probably wouldn't go.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I'm just saying
free.
that would really help England get rid of a few of its racists, actually. But just saying. But.
Yeah, I mean, I don't shed a tear when assholes die from anything. I don't care. Good. The world is a little bit of a better place, but the assholes can also spread it to people who don't deserve it, and that's the shit that pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the only problem with the assholes dying is for every asshole that dies, 3 more are born. They just increase their numbers prodigiously, and it's.
I'm actually starting to wonder. I'm actually starting to wonder, looking in America, if there is a separate species of human that's not going to be able to create with other humans before long. I think it's a kind of large ape known as the chimpanzee. I think that's becoming its own separate species right now.
Well, I don't know if you've gotten a good gander at most of them. I don't think breeding is going to be something that they'll be especially skilled at, especially when it comes to attracting a mate. I don't know if that's going to be easy for them to accomplish.
Well, unfortunately, it's the people who think these things out ahead of time who are opting not to have children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, some of the photographs I've seen are just totally amazing. The one with the 3-bagger, and I think it might need actually a couple more bags just to be sure, with the thing written on her belly with Trump boner garage. Guys like, no.
Like, I don't know why. Like, here's how you know that Trump doesn't care about his supporters: is he didn't say no Sturgis this year, guys.
Yes.
This is a sad thing. Is that when I used to ride motorcycles, that was like one of my things. I want to do that one year, but then I look at a lot of the people that go there. I'm like, I don't know if I really want to be around those people.
But no, it's a mere coincidence that all those people were Trump supporters. They were never actually racist before this. That never happened. It's all like the rectangle squares thing. Like,
well, I hate to cut it off while we got good conversation going, but we've been going about 2.5 hours, and I got a couple things I still need to do during business hours.
Oh my! Yeah,
so I'm going to have to shut down here. But if anybody has anything they want to plug before we go,
I'll go first.
Okay,
yeah. My podcast is going strong. We are on Thursdays on YouTube. It's The Bin Podcast. It's me and my UK mate, my Swedish mate, and 2 Americans as well. And we wrap up the week's politics, make fun of each other, and have a drink. It's a good time. So Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Periscope, everywhere. The Bin Podcast.
What's called, honey? The Bin Podcast?
Yeah. Like
I just dropped everybody's links in the side chat a bit ago.
I'll just say
under Defiances, the last link is for the Bin channel.
I'll just say I started listening to your podcast about a week or two ago, Mikey. I'm enjoying it. So
thanks. Should be a
I'm used to having Amiga Nuts do all that. I had to do it myself today.
It's normally Dave and Amiga in it between the 2 of them. So
okay, I'm following you. You're following me. That's a good thing. I follow you.
So also I put all those links in the description. So when this gets posted later, people can go to the description and find all those.
And for you, you European brats, it's at a very easy to watch time for you guys because 2 of the hosts are European. So it's like 2 p.m. Central in the States, but it's like, I think 8 o'clock for you guys. So not too late.
So you do that
and poor Brendan is in California. She has to start her show.
I'm going to butcher his name probably. Don't you do that with Sharton?
Yeah.
I met him on one of Hopswatch's streams. Actually, he's really cool. I like him.
Amazing guy.
Yeah.
Amazing guy.
Is that on your channel, Mikey?
We have our own channel for it. Is the Bin.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll have to hunt for it and subscribe.
I'll drop it in Purple's Twitter thing.
Recently, didn't you? So
yeah, I'll drop all this stuff in Purple's Twitter thingy.
Perfect.
That way everybody can see it.
Didn't you have Landon
here? I see streamed a month ago, and you've only got 59 subscripticators on the Bin. Something is wrong here.
I know.
Yes,
we're struggling for subs.
I actually wasn't aware of the second channel yet, so.
Yep, me neither.
Yeah,
so
we got to make sure that we get it out there more.
Yes, absolutely.
I will do that. I will do it. I'm going to the laundromat right now, so I have plenty of time to copy and paste links to people.
Oh, no, that's interesting. Okay, if you're going to the laundromat, How hard is it for you to get quarters? I know at the Squall Mart and everything else up here, we've got please pay with your cards or whatever because we don't have any change. Are
Yeah.
you getting hit with the coin shortage, or can you actually get quarters?
For my job, I work retail, so we've been low on money for quite some time, and then it just kind of got wind to everyone else, and it was like, "See, the government's trying to control." It's like, no, asshole, they furloughed all the fucking people at the Treasury all at the same time. Like they should have did it in waves, but they just sent everybody home and paid them. Meanwhile, we went through all the back stock of coins that they had, and now we need more, and it's gone.
Well, and the biggest problem isn't even that they're not producing more. It's just because people aren't going out shopping as much, the money isn't circulating.
Well, that too.
Because it used to be that, like, for every dollar that was actually physically printed, like $8 were spent.
Mm-hmm.
Well, unlike on the change part of it, it's just like for a business to run, I have to get bank money.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like I have to, so I deposit some, like my petty cash and stuff like that. I give out the change to the customers, and like they could use the Coinstar if they want, but like all of that coin, like from the banks and from Coinstar and stuff like that, that has to go to a whole separate facility that's government run.
Right.
And then I hope they clean some of the money, but then they reband it and they repackage it. Those are the dudes who got furloughed. So we weren't getting on our supply chain got cut because those guys weren't working. So
yeah, the Treasury does wash the money.
So once we once we went through what they had already been done with, and then they wanted to, okay, we better send them back because everyone's about to run out of money. It was they were 3 weeks late.
Yeah, I've got to be really careful because I live in an apartment. We have laundry machines downstairs, but they eat quarters, and I only have about $30 in quarters, so I can't do laundry twice a week or anything like that because I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to get the quarters to replace.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that aspect of it.
I never did actually answer your question. The laundromat that we go to, you get the little key card, and then you can add money to it. And you can use your debit card. Yeah, you can use your debit card or cash to add money.
Yeah, that's how the laundry in our facility works, is that we've got these cards that they put money on.
Cards that I keep losing with like $3 or $4 left on. I probably wasted $20 because I keep losing them.
Because here they still want those metal discs in the machine every time you do it, and this is where the first thing that I had thought of, I had not thought of plastic cards or anything like that, was it would be great if the machines could convert to tokens, with little brass discs or something that had no monetary value, and you would get out of a machine, and because there you get the tokens and you don't spend them at the convenience store down the street, so they more or less stay in the facility where you got them.
Right.
They're
only good here.
Yeah, that would be a little bit better for something with a coin shortage. Now you can't expect anybody to make the change now because we're already in enough of a pinch, and it would take money to do that.
To retrofit those old washers that have like the chunk quarter operation, relatively easy.
Oh yes,
especially for cards or anything like that. It's. I mean, a 19-year-old with a power drill could do it for him, but again, they have to spend the money. They have to invest that money.
Yeah. It's just swapping out the components.
Yep.
And I'm not sure. I don't know if you could use the same component for a quarter taker and a token taker. If there's a way to adjust the weight or anything that would trigger it, I don't know. But you would still have to have somebody come out and do something like that. And
you want to talk about like 3 million machines across the country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
3 million's a low number.
Yeah, for sure. Because if you think every apartment building has at least one.
Yeah, because we've got 2 washers and 2 dryers downstairs. in this building, and there's another building across the
Yeah.
parking lot.
I know there are some buildings. I had some friends living in buildings in Minneapolis that they did use tokens like that.
All right.
And one of them, they had even taken such a cheap way out that they had actually gotten a hold of the old streetcar tokens that the city had quit using.
Oh,
Oh,
wow. Yay.
Probably somebody was collecting them and just like, hey man, I'll give you $30 for all this useless metal you have.
Yeah.
Deal.
There you go. You know what I actually found once or twice? I don't know how they got into change, but I found a couple tokens that I got instead of quarters, and they must have been from one of those peep show places with the phones. Yeah, because he had a naked.
Don't know
lady.
how I got those.
I actually got it in change. It's amazing. Twice it happened to me, if I remember correctly. And it's like, what the hell is that doing in there?
Well, there had also been a period that back when they had video arcades, that a lot of those had gone to tokens instead of quarters.
Yep.
Okay. 'Cause I have not been in a video arcade in decades. So
I haven't seen a video arcade since about 2000.
Okay, because Jesus, when was the last time I was in a mall? I mean, really?
That's true. They still had them in some of the malls.
Yeah, maybe
I don't go to malls very much.
maybe about 2005 was the last time I saw a video arcade. And Jesus.
There's a couple places around here that are like a mix between like a arcade and like a relaxed lounge / bar. So like there's food, everyone like there's just like a couple couches, like you know what I mean? Like instead of like a booth, you have like a small room with like a couple TVs in it. There's like a nice coffee table. They bring you drinks and food and all that stuff. And instead of it just being like a stand-up dig dug looking machine, it's like a console. So you can play Guitar Hero with all your friends, or you can play, you know what I'm saying? Or all you guys want to sit down and play Madden and have martinis. You can do that.
Wow. That sounds like fun.
I don't know how their business is doing because I think they're
well, I'm
their
sure with
prices-
the COVID, it's not doing well.
oh, they're probably done for now. They're probably closed up shop.
There are so many places that have closed permanently. My favorite hot dog house closed because.
Well, and I do feel bad that it's going to be so many of the small businesses and the family-run places, you know, that aren't going to be able to survive the lockdowns.
Well, that's been the big issue here since like some of the bars and restaurants have been reopened. Obviously, I understand why you've got to have the sort of rules to whatever around social distancing, but I almost kind of feel that they pulled the trigger on this too soon because the rules kind of do suit the big chains. A lot of the little guys are going to get not going to be able to survive this.
Yeah,
and that's a shame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're having a spate of bankruptcies here in the U.S. of businesses that just cannot survive the lockdowns, and they're not all restaurants. I mean, there are retail stores, etc., who are just not getting enough business to maintain. And they are some established department stores, for example. That's the amazing thing.
Well, the department stores, a lot of them were struggling before the COVID started.
Yeah.
I've seen people online blaming the COVID for JCPenney's closing. And it's like, JCPenney stores across the Midwest have been shutting the doors off in the last 10 years.
I was going to say, they've had trouble for a few years, that JCPenney, haven't they? I mean, it's just what I've heard. I mean, we don't have that. They've never been a brand in the UK, but I know they're big brands in the United States. But
yeah, so just a lot of people are subscribing these bankruptcies to the COVID, and for a lot of companies, it started years ago.
And I think COVID really kind of exaggerated a lot of the weaknesses that were apparent in the way that our businesses and our structures were set up. So if you have this super expensive brick and mortar building that you need your customers to come into,
Yeah.
or else you can't do business at all, then there's something wrong with your business structure. And if you can't shift and adapt like everyone else is starting to learn how to do, then you will die. There is no so JCPenney should have been making that website immediately. They should have been setting up drivers and delivery shit from Uber and all those people and partnered up with them immediately. But they don't want to do that because they don't have to.
Yeah.
Just let the people in here and shop so I can kill them and take their money.
And again, we've got the conversation going, but I was trying to shut down here. So
my bad.
Yeah,
no, everybody's doing it.
I think we went into shilling and then it took a tangent, I think.
Yeah. So Jeff, you got anything to shill?
Yeah, well, I'll just say there. I don't want to say too much yet because it's but there's a guy I'm wanting to get onto my channel that I haven't got anything confirmed yet, but it should be quite interesting. That I talked to last week, but I don't really want to say too much yet because I want to get it confirmed. But myself and some people know myself and Hissy from Hissy's Hideaway. We do a weekly thing together where we take turns to host it on each other's channel. Like that, we're doing quite just a light-hearted little thing, but we're going through the old Asterix and Obelix comics, and doing a bit of a breakdown then, but also looking at some of the actual history of ancient Rome in that period, see what they got right, what's not right, but having a bit of fun with it as well. And I think what the feedback I'm getting is clearly it doesn't seem to have a mass audience, but it does seem to me that the people that are watching it really like it. So
oh yeah, I haven't been able to make it live, but I've been watching reruns late at night.
Yeah, that's generally the feedback that I'm getting from them is that I can see it's never going to be something that really takes off and gets big, but it seems that the people who do like it really like it. So it is. But to me, it's like Hissy and I just enjoy doing them. So that's the main thing for us, Yep.
Yay.
Okay, Diana, what have you got coming up?
Well, okay, it's usual
That's
stuff.
all I've really known.
Kate and Mom NATO and I do our shows Sundays at noon, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. on my channel, Lavender Lady. And
okay, you're quoting Eastern time for everybody.
Yes, I am. Yes. Maybe I should start quoting UTC. I don't know. And it's just basically a free-for-all. We've been going just mainly no set topic, really. We might have a little something for about 2 minutes, and then it just goes into total chaos. And it's working, kind of. So, I mean, please drop by. Drop by if you can. Love to have you. And good. And if you can't come by, watch the reruns. I mean, what the heck, And there's always a good time to be had.
Yep. Okay, Doc, you got anything happening?
Oh, hells no. I'm not a content creator, unfortunately, but I could shout out somebody I was a former patron to, and that's Scientist Mel.
Oh yeah.
She's a great YouTuber and a great science educator. So I'll shill Mel.
Is it my understanding that Mel and Nervardia are starting to work together?
Well, this is the first I've heard of this. That sounds awesome.
I think they've done a couple of collaborations. I don't know if it's going to be a regular thing or not. I'd have. I don't know. I haven't. I'd have to ask Mero about that. So sorry.
Yeah,
sorry, but everyone knows Mero.
I was about to say the same thing. They've done a couple of videos together. I didn't know if there were plans for it being anything regular.
I would say, as you mentioned, if anyone's watching this hasn't by any chance hasn't subscribed to Navadia, do so. She's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
She's a sweetie. Really, really, really. And well, I mean, now that you're mentioning Mara, well, you know, Nacha is a big sweetie. You know, the upside down sweetie, definitely. So, you know, you can't mention Mara without mentioning Nacha.
Yeah, and lately,
Monkey.
Nacha has picked up Gray Skeptic's Atheist Flashback series.
Oh,
he had Doc on there a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah, probably just about a month ago now. Yeah.
you're getting.
And I got drunk. I got drunk on rhubarb wine.
Oh my!
Okay.
So you definitely have to check that out. It was good.
Yeah, just for me, this is basically what I do every Wednesday at noon Central Time and Thursday at midnight Central Time.
Yay.
I have been working on a couple of edited videos, but now my computer is not behaving and will not allow me to use my camera and some other equipment. So
Still,
until I can get that fixed, and currently the diagnosis seems to be I may have to reinstall Windows from scratch, which I don't feel very confident doing.
Oy vey.
my.
Yeah, for some reason it's like my headset mic will work, but it will not recognize the snowball microphone, so I can't make good recordings.
Arg.
I don't know what. So the snowball mic melts. Okay.
Yeah, it's something that when Windows did an update a couple of weeks ago, it somehow fucked up the USB drivers. So half of the USB stuff it recognizes, and half of it doesn't acknowledge anything's plugged in.
Do you notice any pattern as to perhaps the level of USB that is recognized and is not recognized?
No, not really.
Okay.
You know, and it is definitely, I've tried switching around to different ports. It's not a specific port, and it's definitely a problem with the computer because I can plug all the devices into my laptop and they all work.
Okay, because I was wondering, for example, did it forget how to talk to USB 3 while it still knew how to USB 2? One of those.
I've tried switching the plugs around between the ports in front and the ports in back and the USB 2 and the USB 3, and it's always the same devices that don't work no matter what they're plugged into.
Okay, so definitely, yeah. Let's see if we can do this right. What we have here is failure to communicate.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just thinking of Guns N' Roses whenever you do that.
Yeah, and unfortunately, since I moved here, I don't know any techie people in this city who can help me.
Oh, man. That is not good.
So, okay, well, we're going to leave it there for now. So, thanks everybody for coming.
Take care, everybody. I will.
It was fun hanging out with you guys.
We'll catch you all later.
Yeah. All
Bye-bye.
right.